Very nice and high, and Cox has now got the game back into his...
Well, I think it's fair to say that the blue touch paper has been well and truly lit.
He has, and here we go.
Oh, hang about. Hang about.
Don't jinx it. Double 12! Yes!
Good Tyrrell is the big fish.
Yes, it is! Thornton. Oh, right in the top corner.
Under pressure, Robert Thornton's making diamonds.
Double top. Oh, the match. And Lee Cox, that is a special, special shot. You can see how happy the man is. He makes his Saturday night debut on Saturday. Lee Cox tops the group.
Well, that's interesting. Another brilliant checker.
That will be a dagger to the heart of Lee Cox.
Going from the further. Paul Hogan, double 16 to take a 3-3. That's exactly what he does, and yet another touch shot out.
Good evening and welcome to your Thursday night sporting fix here at the Modus Super Series, the live lounge, home to some fantastic darts this week. I'm sure we'll get plenty more tonight. And alongside me to guide you through the action, Laura Turner. Laura, what an incredible week it's been so far.
I know. It's my first kind of appearance here this week, and I've been glued to the action. 9 darters, 170 checkouts. I just hope there's more of that to come tonight.
Yeah, we've seen some really good stuff in the first couple of groups. Group C got underway this afternoon. Of course, we saw Group A earlier in the week. That was won by Lee Cox, who put some heartache behind him and finally crossed the line to make it through to finals night. Robert Thornton missed a dart to win that group, ended up in Group C. We saw him this afternoon, but it was David Wazowski and Tommy Lishman, who also hit a 9-darter in Group A, who got 4 wins from 5. But tonight it's all about Group B. Sebastian Bialecki, David Evans, Paul Hogan, the debutant Jordan Matthews and David Davies. A lot of them have got experience in making it to Saturdays as well, Laura. So Jordan Matthews on debut, he's going to have his work cut out to get there.
Yeah, I think so. But I think with all of them, you look at that field and it's another tough group. But it's interesting to see there's been a kind of lot of love for Jordan Matthews. He's obviously doing really good things, in the ADC. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes that game and plays here at the Super Series.
Yep, certainly one of the Northeast contingent. They're pretty good up there. But a player who's been pretty good whenever he's been here recently is David Evans. What sort of qualities does he bring to tonight?
Yeah, David is just one of those, really, really steady players, isn't he? We saw he played himself into getting into a position in Group B, almost played himself into actually topping the group in the end. He won all of his last games yesterday, so probably coming into this with quite a bit of confidence, and that wouldn't surprise me, a former tour card holder himself, so just needs to use all of that and just make sure he's in that top 3 and gets through to tomorrow.
Yeah, he is, like you said, a very steady player. Sebastian Bialecki, on the other hand, he can be quite explosive at times, can't he?
Yeah, when he's at the top of that game, we've seen it from him, haven't we? We've seen 9 darters, and we know what he can do on the oche, so for me, again, he's one of those players who's a proven winner as well here. So if he can find it, then we know to expect big things from Bialecki.
Absolutely. Both of those players have played their part already this week, but Paul Hogan joins the action tonight, as he so often does. We have offered him weeks here before, but he likes to go about his work and then turn up on an evening. But he's a player that you should never underestimate. No,
the things that he's achieved, I've always said, I know Paul quite well, and he's a real serial qualifier when it comes to really big tournaments, and seen him recently, obviously, at the Seniors World Championships as well. So, yeah, he brings with him a lot of experience, and I think that's what he needs to draw on. He's had mixed success here and finds himself in a tough group, but I think, hopefully we'll see the best from Paul.
Yeah, let's see how the bookies see things then in this group. Here's how they've priced it. Difficult to get a read on Jordan Matthews, but he's not too far behind the rest of the field, so they know the damage he's been doing in the ADC. David Davies equally has seemed to improve most times he's been here, but they do go with David Evans as the favourite just ahead of Bialecki. Do you think they're right in doing that?
Yeah, I think they're quite fair, actually. I think, David Evans coming into this, he has been probably the steadier of the two that we've seen, compared to Sebastian Bialecki. However, you know, they're just a guide, obviously, these type of odds. And for me, the outlier there, Jordan Matthews, it just depends what standard he brings there, because he's done some, like I say, he's done some really good stuff in the ADC.
Absolutely. We'll get through to comms to guide you through the action. If you are going to have a flutter, by the way, please do gamble responsibly. It's 18 plus begambleaware.org. Sebastian Bialecki is in action in the opening match. He takes on Paul Hogan, who I had the pleasure of a chat with earlier on. Paul, welcome back to the Modus Super Series, a familiar setting for you. How are you feeling ahead of tonight?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, it's going to be a tough night, but yeah, look, I'm looking forward to it.
Have you had a look at the group, the competition? Any thoughts?
It's going to be tough. I know all the guys in there, so I know I've got to up my game a bit.
It's been an interesting week. We've had 2 9-darters hit this week. Have you been watching any of the action? Are you aware of what's been going on?
Yeah, I've been watching it a bit. Yeah,
certainly a few tough acts to follow.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I've just got to go up there and try and do my best.
You are one of the most experienced players, well, in darts, but in this setting in particular. What kind of advantage do you think that could give you in this group?
You know, if I can play to my ability, I know I've got a good chance of winning. And you know, if I can get off to a good start and get a couple of wins, then get a couple of wins tomorrow, I should get through.
And getting through to Saturday as a relatively local player to this area, how important is that for you?
Yeah, it'd be good, because I've got a few mates who want to come down. My son wants to come down as well with me. So.
Could be a good weekend, couldn't it? Paul Hogan lifting the Super Series trophy, England winning the Euros.
It'd be good, yeah. Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you very much.
Yeah, always good to have Hoagie here at the Modus Super Series. He takes to the stage once again in an evening session, ready to do battle with Bolt. Sebastian Bialecki, the opponent in this opening match, the young Polish player who has, as Laura mentioned at the start of the show there, had a 9-darter on that stage, and it has been raining 9-darters at the Super Series this week. 2 of them, Paul Hogan, maybe getting on the act himself, the 6-year-old from Basingstoke, 3 times the World Championship quarter-finalist at the Lakeside. He takes on the now 20-year-old Bialecki, who has reached the quarter-final on a big PDC stage, that in the UK Open, and has enjoyed victory on this stage as well. Maybe a significant match. We'll start to see whether it will be a bit of a procession for the likes of Bialecki and David Evans, or whether Paul Hogan will be, as you saw then, is Laura, a thorn in their side.
Yeah, doing a little bit of...
First leg, it's Paul to throw first. Game on.
A little bit of research, just obviously prior to this. And actually, it was almost a year ago. It was June 23, and these guys found themselves in the same group. And they actually won 1 game
99.
apiece. As you say, Paul Hogan is one of those players likes to just do the couple of days here at the Modus Super Series.
$58.
Yeah, we mentioned about coming into this week, mentioned it to him as well in that interview. It must be difficult to sort of join a week that's been so spectacular and feel like you have to live up to that in some way yourself.
Yeah, and obviously finding yourself in Group B, you just have the 4 games throughout the evening. And this is probably not the easiest of openers for Paul Hogan. Obviously, Sebastian's kind of warmed to what he needs to do here once again at the Super Series. Obviously, we saw him finish 3rd in Group B, 8 out of 15 wins. In Group A. It's how quickly Paul Hogan can settle down, but as we've mentioned, he's got all that experience under his belt. Making a relatively solid start here.
Yeah, that Group A was remarkable. Lee Cox winning on 20 points. Finally crossing the line after several
41.
close calls where he'd lost out on leg difference. In fact, there was a couple of weeks where he'd lost out on leg difference in 2 different groups, Lee Cox. So he will be absolutely thrilled to have made it through to finals night. But then David Evans on 18, Sebastian Bialecki on 16, the same number of points as both Robert Thornton and Tommy Lishman.
Well, you said it earlier, didn't you? It was one moment Thornton threatening to actually top the group, and then the next thing he finds himself in Group C and probably scratching his head ever so slightly.
So we're going to get the first lightning bolt here. Bialecki
57.
can't threaten the finish, so
Only
Hogan gets a
require
go at
116.
116.
$100. Sebastian, you require 56.
56 required. Would be a broker throat. Tops. Double 10. Yeah, it does
Game shot on
convert
the
it.
first
It's 1-0,
leg. Sebastian Bialecki.
Bialecki.
I think the referee Jack Garwood there was just telling Paul
Second
Hogan
leg. It's Sebastian to
to
throw
make
first.
sure he walks back the right
Game
way.
on.
I do think he was collecting a flight actually when he went the other side, but have to be reminded of procedure.
140.
Yeah, it's got to be quite difficult as well from a referee's point of view. Probably might not have seen that was what Paul was doing.
Well, there were calls by
140.
the multiple world champion Gary Anderson for VAR in darts, weren't there, at the World Cup of Darts recently?
180.
No need for another check there. All three in the treble first of the night.
43.
Yeah, hopefully first of many, but just securing that opening leg seems to have really settled Bialecki. 140 followed by 180.
$125.
That's a really good leg of darts, isn't it? 140, 180, 125.
83. Sebastian, you require 56.
Yeah, we saw him take this out to go into a 1-0 lead. Can he stretch it to 2-0?
Game shot on
Can
the
indeed.
second leg. Sebastian Bialecki.
Just a little grimace from Hogan, not happy with how it's going so
Third
far.
leg. It's Paul to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, understandably so. It's a solid start from Sebastian. Over 20 points the difference in averages. I know we're only third leg in.
100.
Could be a busy night here at the Super Series
96.
on Saturday. If Hogan gets through, he's relatively local from the Basingstoke area. But Lee Cox of London has already promised that he's going to bring a huge fan base with him.
140.
So if you are planning on coming, make sure you get your ticket pretty quickly. I can tell you that plenty were sold the moment Cox qualified. And if you do want to be part of the party in
58.
Pompey, scan that QR code, get yourself yours for just a couple of quid, and you can be here for the first part of what could be a very, very enjoyable sporting weekend in England.
140.
Yeah, definitely is all go this weekend with regards to sport. And I can definitely imagine a really big contingent coming down, as you mentioned there, for Lee.
58. Paulie require 121.
Well, Paul will have a few fans. He referenced it himself if he makes it. Yeah, looks like he's... Well, I thought it looked like he was
89.
going for it, but then decided not to. No real benefit of him going for the 11s if he was never planning to go for the bull.
46.
Yeah, a bit of a head
Paulie
scratcher that
require
one for me,
32.
but the outcome is he's on a double first and
Game shot on a third
Does
leg.
find that
Paul
double.
Hogan.
Yeah, entirely legitimate. He can do what he likes. And he's
Fourth
got the
leg.
leg
It's
in the
Sebastian to
ledger.
throw first. Game on.
A reminder, coming next, Jordan Matthews on debut against David Evans. Matthews has been really looking forward to this first appearance. Doing some great stuff in the ADC in the northeast
140.
of England. And then David Davies will take to the stage against Hogan in Game 3. The Welshman, who's always
100.
good operator here. We
97.
mentioned it, Laura. World Match Play coming up as well. Any thoughts on who'll be taking the trophy at the end of that one?
No, if I'm honest, I'm looking at some of the first round ties. I'm not even sure who's going to make it to the second round, let alone pick up the whole thing. There are some absolute belters in there.
Well, it was Sebastian Bialecki, of course, who stopped Luke Littler, making it 3 successive Super Series titles here in Portsmouth. And
44.
who would have thought this time last year that Littler versus Van Gerwen would be such a big draw for the World Match Play?
60.
Yeah, it's one of those things. We see players come through, and we can identify the quality in them. But obviously, I just think the rise of someone like Luke, and the speed that he's done it in is just absolutely sensational.
134.
Yeah, all of his appearances here and plenty of highlights packages have been put together, and a full-on documentary about the Luke Littler story available here on the Modus Super Series
81.
YouTube channel.
Sebastian,
if you aren't subscribing
86.
already, stop messing around and do so. Good dart. 7-7.
79.
Not so good a dart.
120.
No, it just offers that little opportunity here to Hogan to level it up at 2 apiece, but we'll need to pin that treble. He does, so tops for 2-all.
80. Sebastian, you require 7.
Yeah, and an audible hand slap there from Hogan, not happy.
Game shot on a 4
Yeah,
flag.
they'd be
Sebastian Bialecki.
even more unhappy now. And you can see that
5th flag. It's Paul
with
to
the
throw
little
first.
sort of
Game
mutterings
on.
coming from the mouth of Paul Hogan there.
Yeah, Paul Hogan doesn't actually have a great deal of time to recover. Obviously, first one out. He'll be back at match 3 where he does face
100.
David Davies. And that in itself is not necessarily that easy a prospect either. Again, they actually were in the same group back in January here at the Modus Super Series, and
80.
both those games actually went the way of Davies. So Paul Hogan could actually find himself, not off the mark and being 50% of the way through the games for tonight.
43. $100. $100.
Still plodding away as he will, Paul Hogan. Hasn't got it easy. I mean, no one's got it easy in this group.
100.
But he may find himself sort of needing to beat the unknown quantity in Jordan Matthews in his 3rd game. If his first 2 don't go well, he's playing in games 1 and 3. You can quickly find yourself
60.
sort of chasing, can't you?
Yeah, you really can. Obviously, the advantage of being in Group B is the fact that 3 out of the 5 go through. However, the disadvantage is you only have the 4 matches. You don't have as many to come back to.
140.
I'll wait until later in tonight's show when we reveal next week's lineup, because I think all the players that are in action this week will be glad they're in this week and not next
Sebastian, you
week.
require 81.
$12 would leave the ball. Finds the 12, so needs the ball.
34.
Quite a wild one
All
there.
you
So
require,
again, another
115.
opportunity for Hogan, but we'll need to find a tum-topping finish.
$57.
So 47
Sebastian, you require
for
47.
a seemingly comfortable win for Sebastian Bialecki,
Game shot.
who might
on
not
the
have
match,
played
Sebastian
to a
Bialecki.
much higher level than Paul Hogan in that match, but he took his chances, and Paul Hogan, just as he was approaching finishers, didn't really do so. It's a good strike rate on the doubles for Bialecki. He had plenty more opportunities than Paul, hitting half of his double attempts, and he gets a 4-1 win in the opening match of the evening. Following it is a debutant in Jordan Matthews, who takes on David Evans.
Yeah, welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where you're about to see debutant Jordan Matthews take on the rather experienced David Evans. Now, I imagine these two probably would have met in the local area on a few occasions, but it all is all going to be what happens here and now. For me, David Evans is the player that's coming in with, for want of a better word, the momentum. He won 5 out of 5 yesterday, and he is tipped by the odds compilers as the favourite to top the group. And you can understand why. Hit that big 170 finish and did get one of those elusive wins over the Group A winner Lee Cox. You have Jordan Matthews, 29, from Skelton in Cleveland. And there's David Evans from Preston. Was a quarter-finalist at the 2020 BDO World Championships.
Game on.
For me, I'm just really intrigued to see how Jordan Matthews plays here, because having a look at his statistics online, you can just see there's quite a range when it comes to how he's playing at the moment. Can be anything from around about the mid 70s, but obviously all the way up to the high 90s. So if he can find something closer to the top end, he's going to cause a lot of trouble for these players.
Yeah,
well, not showing too many nervous signs in his first couple of visits. He's found a treble 20 in each of them.
59.
Must be such a high standard that the tournaments up in the northeast, many a talented player coming from that part of the country to here at the Super Series. But even beyond that, the stack of Geordies and Mackhams on the Pro Tour at the moment is incredible.
Yeah, it really is.
40.
Highly competitive. And Jordan Matthews just at the halfway point now at the ADC circuit. He's topping the Northeast regional rankings. But if you look at the other areas and the other names that are on the list, you've got the likes of Gary Stone, Carl Wilkinson, James Richardson, Adam Mould, Neil Duff and Thomas Banks. They're all topping their regional areas, and they're all players that are rather familiar to us here at the Super Series. So we welcome Jordan and hope he finds some of the similar success.
Jordan, you require 87.
So treble 17. We must be going for the bull. And he's taken it out. Wow. No need at all to be going for that on that shot with David Evans back in the mid 200s.
Second leg.
But Matthews saw what he wanted. And like me at a buffet, he went and grabbed it.
I might have to remember that line. I'm partial to a buffet myself.
Yeah, the viewers don't know that I've been taking on some sort of food challenge in the ad break
135.
there. But that was incredible, wasn't it? Just not bothered about what his opponent's doing at all and just went for the shot that he left.
60.
Yeah, you do have some players that do it. I guess personally, it's not something that I would always recommend, just because I'm
28.
kind of old school and like to play the percentages. But if it works for certain players, it works for certain players. We've seen them throughout the years here at the Super Series. There are some players that just have ways of going and they stick to it.
140. 180.
There you see, first 180 of the match, and it does go the way of Matthews.
Yeah, this is a spectacular start, isn't it, for somebody who was, well, unknown outside of his region.
58. David, you require 102. Well,
we saw
Jordan,
Matthews take out
100.
the 87. Now he's got 100. Tops, another one of those. Oh, just goes wide into the double one.
David, you require 64.
Super start from Super Bear, but he may not be allowed to stretch his lead. As Evans eyes up, double 16.
48.
Fails to find
Jordan,
it.
you require 38.
guess the one thing we're learning so far about Jordan Matthews, rather attacking player, does go for whatever's left in front of him.
16.
Yeah, direct would be a word that could be used to describe his approach.
No score. Jordan, you require 19.
Double 8
Game
to
shot
double
on the
his
second leg,
advantage.
Jordan
And he's
Matthews.
enjoying himself, isn't he?
Third leg, it's Jordan to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, direct and so rather pumped up for this debut here at the Super Series.
58.
I have to say, hasn't maybe really been noticed because we've been watching Jordan Matthews, that David Evans is having a really slow start here.
58.
He had the chances to level at 1 apiece, missed double 16 off the 64 and then 3 clear at double 8.
60.
Yeah, and a bit of a look of
59.
probably too early to say concern, but he's not happy up there, David Evans.
I wonder if he was a little shell-shocked with that opening leg from his opponent.
40.
I mean, they've spent a bit of time with each other in the practice room already. And it's one of the beauties of the Modus Super Series. Talents can be unearthed. They can be
59.
displayed for all to see. You don't have to wait until they go and get a tour card, and by then you know they're pretty good anyway. Nobody knew what to expect from
83.
Jordan Matthews. Here he is, 2-0 up against the group favourite.
Yeah, and he's got a bit of a lead here over David Evans.
100.
Yeah, Evans himself trying to reach Saturday's
40.
finals night for a 5th time. Done it 4 times out of his last 6 appearances, but never actually lifted a weekly title.
Yeah, such a good player as well.
47.
He's trying out a different set of darts for
134.
this week. He's got them made in his own name by his equipment manufacturer, and they're working well for him on this occasion.
138.
I
Jordan,
do
you
wonder
require
sometimes how much that
86.
plays into the psyche of a dart player, though, when things start going slightly wrong.
54.
And that finish there
David, you
went slightly
require
wrong for
40.
Matthews, and this is a chance here for Evans, not just to get a point on the board, but to get a break of throat.
Game shot
Yeah,
on the
order
third leg.
could
David
be
Evans.
restored here. It took him 5 attempts to hit a double, but we could see this totally switch. He could win the match
Fourth lag. It's David to throw
and end
first.
up with a higher average,
Game on.
and that super start from Jordan Matthews may turn out to be something of a false dawn.
96.
I think it's one of those things, isn't it? You're here for the first time. You really wanted to be here as well, and you want to make that really big impact. So you kind of come out, all the
98.
adrenaline's kind of running through your body. Kick off with a 15, but you have to be able to maintain it. You have to keep finding that consistency.
$122. $100.
Yeah,
42.
perhaps some early concerns here for David Evans fans, because he's actually not really anywhere near the target when he's away from it. He's a
99.
bit all or nothing, Evans, in this match.
$140.
So Evans looking at 101 when he returns.
60. David, you require 101.
Expect to have a couple of visits from here, but can still do it in one. Oh, this is getting very, very difficult now.
25.
Not the progress he would
Jordan,
have
you
hoped to have
require
made, and Matthews
144.
has to wait for Evans to get out of the way before he throws his darts.
He's rather keen, isn't he?
Calm down, Jordan.
They're super eager beaver when it comes to getting up on that hockey.
94. David, you require 76.
And in keeping with Evans' own antics here at the Super Series, maybe he shouted "duck" as he threw the first one there.
Yeah, we still spot a random duck around the Portsmouth Super Series every so often.
Yeah, he's the culprit.
68.
But has he been the
Jordan,
master of
you
his own
require
downfall
50.
there? Well, Matthews has been so direct earlier in the match. I'm surprised not to see him go straight for the bullseye on 50.
40. David, you require 8.
After that rather emphatic start from Matthews, now missed 9 at the outer ring. It's allowed Evans another chance, but
score.
wow.
Jordan, you require
Yeah, a bit
10.
of a shrug of the shoulders there because that was way off.
Game shot on a 4
But that
flag.
wasn't.
Jordan Matthews.
Jordan Matthews now stretching into a 3-1 lead and has got the darts here to win 4-1.
5th flag. It's Jordan to throw first. Game on.
But he certainly looks the happier of the two, doesn't he? Evans looks a little bit hot and bothered, if truth be told.
100. $58. $86.
Yeah, Evans is going to have to dig deep. He doesn't like the way that first one is lying. Can't get the
43.
can't get the sight to get over the top of it.
Well, you could see the way he threw that was
45.
all wrong, and he knew it. But he's totally getting away with it here. David Evans is not at the races, is he?
No visits so far this match, or this leg, sorry, 58 followed.
58.
Well, there by another 58.
Oh,
No
wow. Well, that is such a rare thing to happen. Even David Evans can't cope. He's done the Gary Anderson. A 180 on the floor. I'd ask you if you'd ever seen the like, Laura, but we have.
Yeah, we have, we have indeed, but yeah, still that's painful.
85.
So much room in the middle of that bed as well for him, and just clatters into them all. Oh no, not again.
Switch. No! Oh,
60.
I'm feeling it.
We've had two 9-darters. I think we've had two 170s. I thought we were going to get back-to-back just explosive throws out the treble 20.
Did tell him to switch.
He did.
82.
I don't know if he can hear you or if he doesn't actually seem the type that perhaps would even listen if you did tell him so.
I mean, it's really unlucky. Still 3-1 up in the match and
121.
on course to go and win it. It seems to have affected David Evans more than him.
100%. He's... yeah, I was going to say he's had... So that's like 3 treble 20s actually
Jordan,
on
you
the
require
floor.
89.
Perhaps 4.
Yeah. And he's still going to win it at a canter. Oh,
57. David, you require 76.
Evans gets a chance to capitalise.
Staying up there for single. Yeah, and a shake of the head there, and I look to the heavens because it's all gone wrong here for David Evans.
If it was 3 on the floor, he would have hit 8 treble 20s in the leg. If we're
36.
saying 4, that would be
Jordan, you
9
require 32.
treble 20s in this leg. which is
Shot
won
and the match,
by Jordan Matthews, despite all those brutal bounce outs. But he's a very, very happy bear in the end. Yeah, enjoy it, why not? Well, he did not let the adversity bother him. Plenty of bad luck in that final leg. David Evans can't look at him, he can't believe it. Just wasn't really in that match at all. It's a 4-1 win for Jordan Matthews on debut here at the Super Series. It doesn't tell the story. That last leg will be played over and over again in disbelief with all those points on the floor. But all that matters is the 2 points on the board for Matthews, who beats Evans 4-1. Coming next, David Davies is out for the first time. He's up against Paul Hogan.
Yeah, welcome back to the Modus Super Series. And here we will be seeing David Davies for the first time this evening. He's facing Paul Hogan. Paul Hogan in his opener, he went down 4-1 to Sebastian Bialecki. So you feel already at this early stage it's going to be quite important for Paul Hogan to just make that bit of progression, try and get a point on the board, because he could quite easily find himself cut adrift 2 games into it with just 2 to go. David Davies here on his 8th appearance here at the Modus Super Series has made finals night 4 times, never actually lifted the trophy, but knows what to do. And as you mentioned earlier, Murph, he's one of those players that seems to just get slightly better each time he comes.
Yeah, the Denby Darter plays in the same team as your mucker Mark Webster, ADC Welsh champion, the 39-year-old, taking on Crocodile Dundee, Paul Hogan, who has played already.
First leg, it's David to
throw 4-1
first.
in that opening match, and
Game on.
we did mention it, he could very quickly find himself behind. However, the fact that Jordan Matthews has beaten David Evans 4-1, well, I'm not quite sure what that does to this group. Whether or not it gives people hope that the
81.
favourite before a dart was thrown is not going to be one of those running away with it, or whether it actually makes the likes of Hogan think, oh no, I've got another decent player to contend with.
140.
Yeah, I think with the likes of Paul, I think he's one of those players, isn't he, that just kind of, he just plays. He just goes about his business as it is. But As you say, the pressure can mount in a format like this as
100.
games go on and the end edges ever so much closer. Yeah, a strange one between Matthews and Evans. If you weren't watching it, it's definitely one to watch back on because
36.
I think we counted there was 4 treble 20s on the floor at one point for Jordan Matthews.
Yeah, remarkable. And that was back-to-back visits.
60.
Just shades of that world final, wasn't it, between Anderson and Taylor, when Anderson opened a leg with a 180. All three of the darts went onto the floor.
45.
And Phil Taylor stepped up and hit one himself.
Yeah, he used to do things like that, didn't he, Phil? Yeah, already I can see
60.
Paul Hogan just shaking his head in the background, just not comfy, not happy with the way things are going. And I can understand why he just hasn't found his stride yet.
Always expect to get at least one or two really decent
140.
performances out of him on any given evening. Paul Hogan, never one of those players where if it starts bad, it necessarily stays bad.
83.
I think we did
Paulie
see
require
that this
140.
afternoon from Pontus Danielson.
Yeah, took out a rather nice 167. And Pontus,
100. David, you require 117.
117. The equation for David Davis cannot be done.
$77. Paulie require 40.
So for an immediate break of throw on tops.
No score.
Couldn't find
David,
it.
you require 40.
yes, a big chance there for Hoagie to just move forward slightly. Gonna have to find a break if he is gonna win this match, but that's a wild one from David Davis, and so is that.
26. Paulie require 40.
Yeah, a little bit of rust here from Davis, but Hogan can't seem to locate a double. There's
on
one.
a first leg. Paul Hogan.
And there's the first leg.
Second leg. It's Paul to throw first. Game on.
Yeah,
44.
I've known Paul Hogan for many a year. Used to be a fellow county dart player with myself back at Hampshire. Also played alongside his wife Angela for many a year.
57.
Just one of those players that, like you mentioned, you know that there's just such a big performance in there. Doesn't always deliver it. It's definitely
81.
there or thereabouts.
Do get involved if you are watching us here on the Super Series YouTube channel. Make sure you are
140.
one of our subscribers. Really does help the production of the Super Series.
120.
For every new subscriber tonight, you'll get a 180 dedicated to you. Might end up on the floor,
I was
mate.
going to say, where's it going to finish up?
100.
But yeah, any questions for Laura Turner alongside me? You can ask. She may not answer. And let us know who you think will win
100.
this week, which I think is a week of unpredictability.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree. I don't think there's anyone that probably doesn't think that Robert Thornton
100.
deserves at
Paulie
least
require
one
156.
one weekly win here at the Super Series, but still got to get through to finals night from Group C.
140.
Nicely crafted
David, you
leave there
require
from Paul Hogan,
104.
but will he get a go at what he's left?
Yeah, he will. And David Davis also knows that Hoagie is definitely coming back. 3 in hand at double 8.
96. Paulie requires 16. Game shot on his second leg.
Well,
Paul Hogan.
Just snuck in the corner quite high, but still very effective. And 2-0 now to Paul Hogan.
Third leg. It's David to throw first. Game on.
Actually met David Davies over in Denmark. He played in one of the WDF tournaments over there. Actually made it all the way through to the
100.
semi-final before he ran into Jimmy Van Schie, another name that is very familiar to us here, but did have a good run. Beat the likes of Liam Mendel-Lawrence, Neil Duff,
100.
Davey Kerwin and John Scott.
Someone's just subscribed, Laura.
There is your 180. You're welcome.
100.
Maybe another one. Shaking the head. He wanted to get in on that act, didn't he, this week?
100.
Well, I always say things come in threes, but we've had just the two, so I think it's destined. Perhaps it's destined for Saturday, in front of a nice live crowd.
And it's never happened on a Saturday night.
60.
Yeah, we're running out of firsts. There's been so many amazing achievements here, that's been here under this roof, but that is one that can still be done.
60.
We may see a spectacular finish from Paul Hogan when he comes back. Davies determined to put the pressure on, but that won't help.
121. Paulie require 161.
Again, similar to the last leg,
David, you require
leaves it really well from
120.
that kind of range and forces Davies to take this, which he won't.
No, and I do wonder sometimes if just the fact that Paul's been out here on the stage, and obviously this is David's first game up here, if that just helps ever so slightly. And this would be for 3-0.
$18. David, you require 80.
Hogan can't look.
Game shot on a
But you
third
hear
leg.
that.
David Davies.
And it's that familiar feeling, isn't it? A leg he feels he should have wrapped up, goes the other way.
Fourth flag. It's Paul to throw first. Game on.
Well, I think I've maybe should have been more specific when I said any questions for Laura Turner.
I was just looking, yeah.
Yeah, Sam says
95.
salt and vinegar or cheese and onion crisps in a sandwich.
I mean, it's a legitimate question. I will be honest. I do answer anything food-based, but yeah, for me, it's got to be salt and vinegar McCoy's specifically
140.
with Philadelphia full-fat cream cheese. I do have that quite a lot.
Other brands are available.
Of course, yeah.
But when you're making it tomorrow, bring me some, won't you? And Darren said Laura never answers anyone, so
121.
both of those things have been resolved in the last 20 seconds.
Wonderful. You partial to a crisp sandwich?
100.
When I fell on hard times, yeah.
$45. $100.
I'll tell you in the break what sandwiches I used to have when I was a kid.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Not for
81.
public.
David, you require
Attention.
161.
This might be.
And he's got at least 6 from here because Hoagie's left himself on a 159. Can't finish that in 3, so time for Davis.
99. $137.
Well, he's
David,
left
you require
himself
62.
on 22 there with a lack of thought. So tops
Game shot on a
found
fourth
for the
flag.
second
David
successive
Davies.
leg, and Davis has clawed his way back into this contest.
Yeah, 2 consecutive
flag.
legs.
It's
Very good
David to
finishing
throw
from
first.
Davis.
Game on.
Max asking after what game do we show next week's lineup? Well, we won't tell you that, Max, because then you'll go off and do something else and come back at that point. We want you to keep watching. Has Laura ever played darts at the Barnsley Metrodome? I'm sure you have.
I have indeed. Yeah, several times there. Probably different levels of success at Barnsley, but
81.
I think Wigan was probably where I was most successful.
2 finals, same day. I remember it well.
I remember it because it's only happened to me once.
80.
Yeah, I'm still eyeing up one of those.
It may well happen. Of course, the
140.
World Match Play played around the same time the Women's World Match Play. Not this weekend, the weekend after, and probably the most open one yet.
100.
Yeah, I think you only have to kind of reflect at what we did here at the Super Series with the Women's Week, and just, you know, I think everyone thought it was just, you know, Fallon and Bow in the mix, and then up pops Rianne, and
60.
we all know how well she can play, and like you say, it's just such a strong field in the women's match play. It'd be interesting to see who does prevail.
Yeah, well, since then, Noel Van Leuven's reached the finals night here. Both her
60.
and Bo Greaves have won other PDC titles, Development Tour and Challenge Tour, so really interesting.
140.
And of course,
David,
go
you
through
require
those names and haven't even mentioned the likes of
161.
Lisa Ashton and Mikuru Suzuki. And both world championships, or former world champion.
And there's so many tournaments to play now with the ADC as well in the mix that all those players are winning things, aren't they,
65.
in different
Poorly require
sort of
80.
codes of the game. Can Paul Hogan win this leg?
50.
Oh, it's wide.
David, you require 96.
Don't let him take a penalty.
Oh, don't talk about penalties. I was nearly sick yesterday. It's just, yeah, I don't want to think about it. Just win an open play.
40. Poorly require 30.
Decided to go straight for it there. Now has to tidy up. Double 4 is the choice, and that
Shot
is
on
what
a
he
fifth
gets.
flag. Paul Hogan. Sixth flag. It's Paul to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, Paul really just trying to G himself up on the stage.
Well, Ashley, who asked you the question about Barnsley
100.
Metrodome, has since revealed that he was the chef at the Metrodome. Did he ever make you a crisp sandwich?
I've never had a crisp sandwich at the Metrodome, no.
85.
Yeah, I won't do question time all night, but yeah. Can get in touch with us directly through the chat. In fact, the same person who asked you about the sandwiches is now asking
95.
if you've ever tried the all-in-one flight stem combos. Seems to have a thing for combos, does Sam?
Yeah, indeed. I have tried them. It's it's not something that I particularly
128.
really got on with. Personally, I know some players do use them, but I've seen quite a lot of new kind of dart tech coming in. You know, the 3-stem flight. I mean, that just baffles me how that works because I'm just so used to seeing flights with four on them. So yeah, I think it's different. It's horses for courses, isn't it? Different things suit different players.
100. $60.
Well, people asking about how players get invited to the Super Series. We have a team of scouts around the country and indeed links with the
82.
ADC, both here
Poorly
and in
require
Europe, and
148.
we'll track the progress of players. Paul Hogan, though, well known,
Game shot and the match.
and he's won that
Paul
well
Hogan.
with a fantastic checkout in the end. Not quite the same level of celebration we got from Jordan Matthews in the previous match, but a 4-2 win as Hogan puts the opening result right. Lost it 4-1, but wins this one 4-2 and finishes it in style with that 1-4-8 checkout. Fantastic stuff from him in the end. Bialecki is back next. He takes on Jordan Matthews. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series for the fourth game of tonight's 10. And it features two of the players who won their opening encounters, Sebastian Bialecki and Jordan Matthews, the two players from the five in this group that are yet to taste defeat. That will change for one of them here. Bialecki, the 20-year-old Pole, very well known, a winner on the Super Series stage before. We're getting a look at Jordan Matthews for the first time. He has been playing some excellent stuff in local tournaments and has earned the call up to the Super Series. And well, he was an entertaining watch for various reasons in his opening match, Laura.
Yeah, it was. It was a strange game, wasn't it? It kicked off with a nice 15 darter. Dave Evans just couldn't rally. Matthews ran out a 4-1 winner, but it was just in that final leg. Two sat plumb in the treble 20, lots of room, classes into them, explodes off the board. That's a rarity in itself. Then follows up by knocking his darts out the treble 20 in the next throw. So
100.
I think perhaps more of the treble 20 hitting, but let's just hope they stay in the board. Maybe a bit of switching, as you suggested before.
Yeah, it's hard to tell exactly how many points were on the floor, but it's possible there was 300 on the floor. Does look like he uses those points that you can just screw in and change. I wonder if he's gone for a sharper set. But he's going to be up against it here, isn't he, against Bialecki, because that's 3 straight ton 40s to open this game.
Yeah, real focus here from Bialecki is another one.
39.
Bounces out the treble target for Jordan Matthews.
Well, that's a stunning leg
Game shot on the first leg. Sebastian Bialecki.
Bialecki making them all stick.
Second leg.
11 darter to open up.
Game on.
Yeah, I can only think, Laura, if you watch all of these darts that have bounced out, they've all been in trebles or around trebles. So you've got to sort of think that they've maybe clipped
93.
wires and just stopped the point penetrating the board perfectly.
Now, if you look at his throw, it's probably not. If you compare it to, say, someone like Bialecki, who's just very firm, very direct, very hard.
125.
Then, if you do clatter into a wire, you don't necessarily lose the momentum. But you can just see it's a much more delicate throw in
60.
action from Matthews. So when it clatters in at that angle, I think that's why you're probably getting them falling out.
Yeah, he seems to be in the zone here, Bialecki. A worry for Jordan Matthews in this game already.
100.
The sort of match where he'd be lucky to lose 4-0.
Well, Bialecki would have seen
96.
Matthews beat the odds compiler's favourite in David Evans in their opening match, and perhaps senses this is a real key opportunity to try and forge a place at the top of the table.
100. $85.
Well, it's Jordan Matthews that's down to the finish first. 167, big ask for him, but Bialecki with a chance here to leave something a lot lower.
44. Jordan, you require 167.
Well, he's done well here because
Sebastian, you
Bialecki
require
was running away with this
132.
and he's put himself in position in case this does not go. And it won't, so Matthews returns to level the match.
64. Jordan, you require 28.
Yeah, 77. Could that be awkward?
14.
It was
Sebastian, you
slightly,
require
so
68.
Bialecki here, 68 required to go 2-0 in front.
$64. Jordan, you require 14.
We mentioned before, he's a very direct player. Does go straight for it. Has to move to just get a clear vision on that target and
No
can't
score.
find it.
Sebastian, you require 4.
Did all the hard work in getting there, but then couldn't cross the line. 6 missed by Matthews at the outer ring, and now Bialecki takes aim. Double one.
No score.
One of those legs.
Jordan, you require 14.
Trust me, I can really empathise. Now 2-2 for Matthews, and
10.
I'm telling you now, I think that was in.
Sebastian, you require 4.
And he's got to think about the equipment now, hasn't he? Because it's his points. It's not the dartboard. Everyone else's darts are sticking in.
Game shot on his second leg. Sebastian Bialecki.
Yeah, you have to say, he's definitely... Jordan Matthews did get away with it slightly in his opening match
Third
against
leg,
Dave
it's
Evans, but he's
Sebastian to
not
throw
going to keep
first.
getting away with it. And
Game on.
that was a leg-winning chance there, and it just exploded out the board.
Yeah, if you were going to give him any advice, what would it be, Laura?
59.
Well, yeah, if he's got those points, as you mentioned, if he's got spare ones, I would suggest changing them, but...
Yeah, stop using rubber
60.
points, Jordan.
Firecrackers at the end of your darts is probably not advisable.
$60.
We saw him have, 180 on the floor in the previous match, but that double two probably will hurt the most, won't it? Because that was
99.
in the double to win the leg.
Yeah, that occasion he did decide to switch at the end. I think that's the other thing. When it keeps happening, it's something that plays on your mind. And I guess, I say the irony, but it does feel rather ironic that
99.
when they have bounced out, they haven't been bouncing out the treble one. They haven't been bouncing out the wrong double. They've been bouncing out of those really big targets. The treble 20, the treble 19, the
100.
double 2.
137.
If it's a double to win a match, he'll have to run up, won't he, and grab it.
140. Sebastian, you require 146.
Yeah, I've seen that on a few occasions as well. That's one of the rules of darts. Even if you call game shot, you have to retrieve your darts from the board.
58. Jordan, you require 102.
Options. Tops.
82. Sebastian, you require 88.
Bialecki gets a go at 88. 18s. The bolt for Bolt. Brilliant.
Shot on a third leg. Sebastian
3-0.
Bialecki.
One thing I will say, you have to give credit to Jordan Matthews for how he
Fourth
himself
leg.
has
It's Jordan
dealt
to
with
throw
this.
first. Game on.
I mean, obviously, it could be something that he's used to having happened if it's, down to the dynamic of his throw. And once again, in the treble
80.
20 and out on the floor. I don't know many dart players that could perhaps remain as calm as he seems to be with all this happening.
I mean, we've never seen him play before. I've seen
44.
some of his numbers and statistics, but we've never seen him, you're all right, in the flesh. And maybe it's just part of his
60.
game, Laura. Who knows? How good would he be if they all stayed in?
Well, yeah.
Because he
quite.
doesn't seem like he's reacting as if it's out of the ordinary.
No. No, I reckon.
80.
Well, is it contagious? Is that catching now?
Have they swapped darts? Bonkers. That's not staying if he stays there.
58.
That's wise to move.
Yeah, I think if I had a bit of sandpaper or something, might run it down and just scuff up the ends of them.
25.
Right, can somebody go behind the stage and see if someone's there with a giant hammer? Like a
95.
dodgy fairground game.
Instead of, what was it, whack-a-mole? It's like whack-a-dart. Because, yeah, it's just bizarre.
100.
Make the point as well, Laura, that dart in the treble one was precarious. It stayed in. Every single dart that's fallen out tonight, and there have been, about 10 of them for Jordan Matthews, they've either been in treble 20, treble 19, or a double that would have won the leg.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's
85.
unfortunate, and I'm
Jordan, you
sure there
require
are certain players that,
140.
like I say, would not deal with it in the same way that Jordan Matthews has.
80. Sebastian, you require 167.
Not much fun, but he's taking it in his stride.
$102. Jordan, you
Pressure on
require
the 60 now. Finds the single. Can he get over the top of that? He has to move. It's a bit of a blocker the way his darts land.
Game shot on a fourth
Yeah,
flag.
but this one he
Jordan
does find
Matthews.
it. And he knows where the camera is. Like in this of Jordan Matthews.
Fifth flag. It's Sebastian to throw first.
But a lot of these
Game
amateur
on.
darts players watch the Super Series, don't they? And I actually think the first player that sort of started entertaining the camera positions was Germany's Davies Schlichting. And since he did it,
100.
then quite a few have started to almost think about where the camera... Oh, here we go again. I think that was a treble one on that occasion.
21.
Well, he kind of went with the dart then, didn't he? I don't know if that was if I keep it in my hand, it'll stay in. I don't know.
42.
Yeah,
44.
Matthews did well to register that last leg. Find a route through to tops, but really open the door here for Sebastian Bialecki, who just needs the one leg to win.
83.
Quite a few players in the chat room this evening. Seen Rob Grundy in there. Of course, did
96.
win here at the Super Series before going on to get a tour card. Hope you're well, Robert. Carl Coleman as well, another great player from the same part of the world as Jordan.
58.
As I say, I logged on to the chat earlier on. There was a couple of hundred people waiting for the show to start, and there was a lot of love in there for Jordan Matthews.
44.
So he's been doing good things. It's been rather unfortunate with the amount of untimely, I wouldn't even call them bounce outs. They almost kind of fall out or explode out of the board.
96.
Well,
100.
Bialecki might be about to put him out of his
Sebastian, you
misery
require
in this one.
122.
Yeah, good setup play there from Bialecki, and all Matthews can do now is just try and find a big score, put a bit of pressure on the 32.
60. Sebastian, you require 32.
So, double 16 for a 4-1 win. Started the match in style, did Sebastian, with that 11 darter. He's had to work hard for it in the end.
Sebastian Bialecki.
Not the easiest 4-1 win he'll ever get, but he will get the points, and he will be top of the table, because that is 2 from 2 for Sebastian Bialecki. He and Jordan Matthews, well, they weren't poles apart in that game. Matthews, with more bad luck with darts falling out, really does need to look at those points and see if there's something he can do to change that. But Bialecki took full advantage, doubled his points tally with 2 from 2 tonight, and now looking to get their first 2 points to the two Davies, Evans and Davies, next.
Welcome to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Live Lounge.
They've both got the talent where they can just reel off leg after leg and dish out a heavy defeat. And what a way to start the day. We're up and running here on Champions Week with a maximum.
But what a way to finish. A 12-dart leg.
Beautiful check out there from Cam Crabtree.
Only
needs the one.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius
What were you saying about efficiency?
Shot on the third leg. Reece
Is that
Robinson.
the moment that Reece Robinson comes alive in this group, so that she can unlock at any moment? But that is quality from Harrison. This would be a wake-up.
Welcome to the party in Pompey. Should be a good marker for him, and is. It was a great guide.
Shot on the first leg. Andreas
It's a
Harrison.
breaker throw for Andres Harrison.
Shot on the second leg. Cam Crabtree.
Consecutive breaker throw. Double 16 is found.
And he does lead. It's not an 11, but it's a beautiful 12, treble 17, which he gets. Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible by Andreas Harrison.
He's Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The action continues here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, the home of the Modus Super Series, and the 5th game of the night is about to get underway, and it features 2 players that lost their opening encounters, the two Davies. Davies at the back of the stage there. He went down 4-2 to Paul Hogan, and Evans was beaten by the entertaining Jordan Matthews in the opening battle for that pair. Matthews winning that 4-1. He's since lost
First
4-1
leg,
to
it's
Sebastian
David Evans to
Bialecki,
throw
who's won
first.
both of his matches after
Game
beating
on.
Hogan 4-1 himself. So this one a really crucial one, because somebody at the halfway stage of the evening will be stranded to the foot of the table without a point to their name.
134.
Yeah, I do expect a different version of David Evans to perhaps come out in their second game. We would have seen Sebastian Bialecki then stretch that lead to get those 2 back-to-back wins. Just wasn't firing on all
58.
cylinders, I think, in his opening match. And that is one of the things, you've got to remember. Dart players, at the end of the day, they're humans. Sometimes it just doesn't always go quite right.
93.
Both showed visible signs of frustration in those early defeats, but
140.
both have played here enough and in this group enough to be well aware that it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
We just look at David Evans' campaign in Group A, winning those
104.
last 5 matches yesterday. That put him in second place overall in what was a really, really tight table between the top 5.
Yeah, rarely seen. I don't think
28.
we've ever seen a fifth
David, you
place
require
player on 16 points.
170.
That is incredible. His miss has been low tonight, hasn't it? That's been a problem for him.
56.
And the way they landed the board for David Evans, it makes it very awkward. I've seen him having to switch at times when he probably wouldn't naturally want to.
46.
Yes, all the
David, you
plan there
require
for Davis, but
114.
unfortunately not the right execution. So Evans here for a 114. Yeah, finds the treble 18, which leaves him tops.
94.
And as you were saying, just a bit low on those crucial moments.
And David Davis's miss has generally been wide, and that's causing him
84.
problems because it's made it
David, you
harder
require 20.
to leave checkouts or to complete checkouts at times. There's another low one that makes things awkward for Evans.
No score. David, you require 145.
Yeah, a bit of a reoccurring theme here for Evans. Missed 4 in the opening leg here, but treble 15 for tops for David Davis to steal this leg.
105. David, you require 20.
Well, Evans was looking at the heavens, shaking his head.
Game shot
Good
on the
use of
first
the
leg.
guide.
David Evans.
And Evans might be able to afford a smile in a moment.
Second leg. It's David Davies to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, clearly doesn't look happy, David Evans, and can understand why. In that opening match against Jordan Matthews, he was 1 from
41.
10 on the outer ring. So far, 1 from 6 here, but in a much better position.
$45. $92. $85.
And neither of them have looked particularly settled, particularly comfortable up there so far.
100.
And those misses that you mentioned earlier for Evans,
62.
they were in line but low. Now they're going wide as well. I think he's trying to adjust, but it's not quite working out.
It just doesn't look comfortable.
43.
Davies has been missing wide at times all evening and just gives your opponent some optimism. 19's here. And now treble 20. Again low. That one, though, on point.
99.
Remaining games for this pair. Evans takes on Bialecki and Hogan. Davis takes
81.
on Bialecki and Matthews.
Yeah, and I think Jordan Matthews is going to be one of those players that kind of keeps us on our toes, because we've seen the 15
60.
darter.
David, you require 144.
Seen he can find the treble 20 target, just keeping him in there has been the difficulty so far for him.
Well, there's been fantastic viewership tonight on the
44.
Super Series YouTube channel. And I tell you
David,
what,
you
that
require
viewership has
150.
spiked when he's playing. So I get the sense that he's pretty well known in certain darting circles.
$87. David, you require 100.
It's a good light. Yeah, I can understand why he stayed there. Quite a lot of players obviously prefer the tops option.
60. David, you require 63.
That's one dart at tops.
43.
Well, we've been talking about
David,
low
you require
misses.
40.
That was very, very low.
$20. David, you require 20.
Yeah, another let off there for David Evans. Converted this last time. If he's going to do it again, needs to find double 5.
Game shot on
And he
his
does.
second leg. David Evans.
A bit telling off of himself there. He's almost
Third
sounding like
leg
someone
is
who's
David
perhaps
Evans to
got...
throw first.
Sometimes
Game on.
when you play day after day after day, you can get a bit of tension and tightness on the inside of your, inside of your elbow. He's almost... It doesn't look like anything's affecting him, but the way they're going low,
99.
it's almost like he's, just got a bit of discomfort there.
And it's why all of those players that battled it out in Group A would have been so determined to get through, and why Lee Cox will be so relieved that he is
60.
through. Because there is no guarantee, as he, more than anybody else, has come to understand, of actually making it through from the group you go into after that. Robert Thornton might not make it. David Evans might not make it.
60.
Yeah, absolutely no guarantees in darts.
98.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that you might be right,
100.
Laura, that there might be some problem, because he's a long way off the standard that we usually see from him.
Yeah, because even when he's finding the target, the consistency of for a lot of dart players, especially someone like Dave Evans, who's
48.
been on the pro tour, played at such a high level, it's repetition, and he's not able to repeat that throw to get the target more than 2 or 3 times. He's going to hit 180 now. I've said that.
83.
Yeah, David Davies himself, though, he's off it as well, isn't he? It's just not what was expected.
85.
We expect some level of inconsistency from Paul Hogan. We know he's got a high game
59.
and can have the odd-off game. And he's shown that tonight. Really only Bialecki's played well
81.
all evening.
David,
Everyone
you
else,
require
everyone else, I
100.
would say, has been below par.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, and I imagine the players will agree with it themselves. One thing players do recognise is when they do underperform.
45.
Yeah, and another
David, you
wild one there
require
from Evans. Offers the
129.
opportunity here to David Davis. 129 though. Just hasn't shown signs of really threatening it. Did miss the 145 in the opener on the double.
Well, I was thinking that when Hogan took out the 148 against Davis at the end of that match. Neither player had shown any signs of such a thing, but Hogan won the game with an
83.
absolutely superb
David,
finish.
you require 55.
Yeah, if it was a goal, I think my daughter would call it a worldie.
What's evident is neither player's enjoying this.
Game shot on a third leg.
Even
David
at
Evans.
3-0 up. David Evans, the shoulders are slumped. It all looks like hard work.
Fourth leg. It's David Davies to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, and it's one of those matches where, as we've mentioned, neither have performed to the levels that we come to expect from the pair of them. And if Davies was to lose this
100.
without actually getting a leg on the board, I think he'd be bitterly disappointed, because it's a massive opportunity against the odds compiler's favourite coming into tonight.
Well, that will change. I think they'll be scratching their heads as well with what has been seen so far.
100.
Timely reminder to only ever gamble what you can afford. 18 plus, begambleaware.org for information on safer gambling.
56. $83.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I think David Evans is one of those players that has actually qualified through Group A, has had that kind of luxury of having the couple of days off.
96.
So, you know, whilst this isn't a unique experience to him, it's probably one that he's not relishing having to do days 4 and 5.
Yeah, he's done it with 14 wins out of 15 as well.
85.
If you'd only watched him for the first time tonight, you would not believe that statement, would you?
No, not at all. It's been a real struggle.
$45.
But this one looks like it will be going his way.
$100.
Yeah, good visit there from Evans. I feel like he's putting quite a lot into each time he toes that Oki.
140.
And a great reply from David Davies.
David, you require 133.
Yeah, no, again, another one just pulled wide.
33.
Takes off the odds,
David, you
but that
require
was
64.
by no way the route he was planning.
Double top then to avoid the whitewash.
Game shot on a fourth
That will
leg.
be
David Davies.
something of a relief.
Fifth leg. It's David Evans to throw first. Game on. $60.
Yeah, you could say with the table as it is at the moment, there might be a point when we come to tomorrow where you're looking at leg difference. Obviously, we saw leg difference split those
100.
players up in Group A.
$44.
Yeah, I think the other thing, perhaps looking at David Evans, is he might be feeling just a bit hot up there.
123.
Could be that there's moisture actually on his hands that's obviously just, you know, not helping him.
It has been a warmer day, hasn't it, after the summer seemed to have ended
55.
for a while, but I was back out today and this building can get quite hot. Everyone going through their own sort of personal battles today, because he does seem to be the only one of the 5 players that's feeling that way.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because we've got the luxury of air conditioning, but I feel quite fine.
81. David, you require
Maybe you could come and sit up here in
130.
between matches.
It's something that as players that you have to get used to, because the different venues that we play at, you know, they're all different times of year, different countries that we visit. It does affect the temperature.
122.
Well, the comeback is well and truly on here for David Davies.
100. David, you require 16.
Yeah, he's that one leg that he won it suddenly seems to have ignited something in Davies here.
No score.
That's unlucky.
David, you require
Yeah,
161.
agreed. 3 very well thrown darts, but Evans match winning chance here again. 161 required.
$55. David, you require 16.
Yeah, once again, all just starting to unravel slightly here for Evans. If Davies can convert this double 8, well, now double 4.
Game shot on a 5th leg. David Davies.
Yeah, now David Davies has the darts to make it 3 apiece and force a deciding leg.
6th leg. It's
Oh,
David Davies to
game
throw
on.
first.
It's a game that's
on.
been going on for the best part of 17 minutes, and you would not expect that in a 7-leg match between these two. You'd think that would be over by now based on the standard that we know they're both capable of producing.
100.
Not slow players either.
No, they're not hanging around.
Well, I hope you do hang around,
57.
because after this match we will be revealing next week's lineup, and it is certainly worth watching out for.
43.
Again, that dart just proving awkward when it lands low on the treble 20 target. Has to switch. Does find the treble 18 in the end, but I think there are some worrying signs here for David Evans.
We made the point, didn't we, at 3-0 he
100.
didn't look happy, didn't look comfortable, and that's never a good sign.
No, and you know as a player, again, shaking the head, doesn't like the light. You know as a player, if you... Okay, the result is what matters, but if it doesn't feel right, doesn't feel
85.
comfortable, you know, it's hard. You have to kind of battle through until everything kind of rights itself again.
$41. $63.
Well, that hit the dart and came out.
$96.
Yeah, really visibly hot and bothered.
Yeah, and haven't seen David Evans play on a few occasions. He is one of those players that probably does look a bit flushed and a bit flustered when there is that additional
55.
pressure. And I think just the
David, you
nature
require
of how he's playing is
121.
probably piling on the pressure for him.
We'll have to go the... Well, I was going to say we'll have to go the 11s route, but he thought better of that. Didn't fancy Evans for the 148. Didn't fancy him.
David, you require 148.
Well, we saw Paul Hogan take this out to take the match in his 4-2 win over Davies. Could it be a bit of history repeating itself? That would hurt, wouldn't it?
Goes the 18s route, and it's on. Confirmation that it's no longer on.
73. David, you require 36.
Yeah, to level us up at 3 apiece.
Game shot on a
And we
6th
do
leg.
go to a
David
deciding
Davies.
leg, our first deciding leg of this evening.
7th and final leg. It's David Evans to throw first. Game on.
just starting to wonder if he's actually maybe a little bit under the weather here.
81.
David Evans, just the way that he's reacting, trying to cool himself down in comparison to how he's been the rest of the week. Just, it doesn't look right.
Yeah,
100.
completely out of sorts. Yeah, I know we're surmising, but what you can say is this is not the standard that we've seen from David Evans all week, and he's visibly frustrated.
Yeah, and struggling through the game won't make him feel any better.
85.
Rob Grundy saying that the lineup better be worth it. Apparently Henry Deacon
100.
bet his house on it. Mum's house, Robert. Mum's house.
Does Henry have his own house?
$125.
Yeah, that's slightly more positive looking there from Dave Evans. Really is fighting for this match. And it's awful if you're not feeling 100%
60.
or the darts aren't just going as well as they should be. When you do have a 3-0 lead and you just see it slowly eaten away, it's at these times you really just want that one big leg, that big reaction.
59. $140. David, you require 151.
Well, the match might end in quite an exciting way here because it has to end in this leg. Both players are on ton plus finishes. David Evans isn't going to go, but he'll be hoping to leave it handy.
Yeah, amazing.
55.
We are in the 7th leg. It's 7
David, you
tons
require
for
101.
Evans. No 140s, no 180s.
Options. So Evans will get another look. Remember, he did lead this game
49.
3-0.
David, you require 96.
Yeah, again, just taking his time, wiping his hands. He's definitely feeling it up there. But that leaves double 18 for the match.
Game shot and the match.
And on this occasion, David Evans does find the target, does complete a 4-3 victory over David Davies. It was not by any means a classic. It was a struggle for both players up there on the oche, but it's David Evans that comes away victorious. And there you see the averages, 73.32 for Evans, 76.69 for Davies, but quite a bit of struggle on the outer ring, but it is Evans that emerges victorious. Well, join us after a short break where we'll be seeing Paul Hogan, and he'll be taking on Jordan Matthews.
Next year, when that decision needs to be made, he's going to be 49. 1 year shy of the age of the seniors.
A very viable option. Two players who are around that age. Well, what did he say about the 9?
Will we get the 141? Will the promise come true? Double 12.
Shot and the match.
Steve West has won the match with a 9 dart.
Harrison has kicked off the last leg in perfect style.
It's everything, really. Oh, he's timing this well again.
180.
With a 9-darter, treble 19. Treble 15 leaves double 18. Franchise Harrison to win the game in perfect style.
Hauled himself out of it.
Yeah, it was something that Henry actually said in jest that I was quoted as saying Jared Cole is one of the most, sounds a bit fishy. Glenn, do you know my grandpa Mark Salmon?
Do you? On a 177 and a 180. He's on a potential 9-darter.
Come on, Jared. Yes, you beauty!
Nice and high, and has now got the game back into his
100.
own destination, and wow, the momentum is with him. Here we go.
108.
I wouldn't have said it. Don't jinx it. Yes. Yes! Double 12! Yes! Get in there, Lee Cox!
Well, I think it's fair to say that the blue touch paper has been well and truly lit.
108.
Sixth max of the match. Oh, hang about. Hang about. It's getting ridiculous now. Can Tommy Leishman give us back-to-back 9 darters in back-to-back games? He could, you know. He could, you know. Goodness gracious me!
Tommy Leishman.
Back-to-back 9 darters!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we've seen the first 5 matches of tonight's action. Laura and myself have been talking you through them, and there has been plenty to talk about, but let's start with the obvious here, and that's Sebastian Bialecki doing exactly what we expected him to do, 2 4-1 wins.
Yeah, by far the most consistent player. You know, he's playing at the best standard out of the whole field at the moment. So he's hit the ground running. He's done what we've expected him to do, and I expect more of the same from Sebastian.
Yeah, he's played some really good stuff. This 88 finish, he produced a perfect central bullseye. And yeah, look, as you say, we're getting what we expected from him. We didn't know what to expect from Jordan Matthews, but he's been a really entertaining watch, hasn't he?
Very much so, yeah. Probably not for all the right reasons in terms of, you know, the darts for Jordan, because, you know, they have exploded out of the board at certain times and crucial times as well for him.
This was his first leg of the night, wasn't it? And we thought then, wow, this guy is going to be special. And like you say, if his darts could stay in the board, then he would be even better. Just take a look at this, Laura. This was unbelievable.
Yeah, just throws that third one, clatters into the 2. It kind of looks like it twists around the 2 darts that are in there and just drags them all out. Then, you know, he's managing to do it not just the once, but did it 2 consecutive throws in a row. Okay, did come away with 60 there, but yeah, there's something not quite right with the setup.
And maybe that was the worst of all, because that one in the double to win a leg against Bialecki, that ends up on the floor as well. In all seriousness, look, it provided us with some incredible viewing, but he really does need to sort out those points, doesn't he?
100%, yeah. Obviously, you can't afford to do that against any player, let alone the standard that we've got here in Group B this week. So, yeah, if you can sort that out and obviously just make them stick, you know, you want every dart to count. The darts do bounce out, but not as regularly as that. I've never seen the like before, to be honest.
Moment of the night, probably that match-winning 148 checkout from Paul Hogan.
Yeah, I think so, because it kind of came out of nowhere. Paul was struggling, I would say, in his first match, and then just absolutely pulls this out of, as I say, it felt like nowhere, but it's just showing signs that Paul's obviously feeling settled and starting to produce what we expect from him.
Absolutely. In terms of the table, it means that Sebastian Bialecki is top of it with those 2 victories. Matthews, Hogan and Evans all with 1. Davies with work to do. But actually, do you feel more concerned for Evans than you do for Davies, despite the fact that he won that match?
Yeah, I think David Evans just hasn't looked comfortable. Obviously, we don't quite know what the issue is, if there is an issue at all. But, you know, he looked very hot, very sweaty, wiping his hands, wiping his brow, just didn't look comfortable at all. And, you know, he was 3-0 up in that match. I think David Davies needs some credit to bringing it back to 3 apiece and just got pipped at the post at the end. But, yeah, I am slightly concerned with, you know, what I've seen from Evans so far.
Right, we're going to take a little pause from this week's action for a moment, because it is time to reveal next week's lineup. And this week, we've seen a couple of 9-dart finishes. Earlier in the year, a familiar face hit the other one in 2024. See if you can spot him here. Jared Kohler's hauled himself out of it.
It's 2 in. Ace going down, treble 19. Yeah, nice. Yeah, 2 in again. He's on the up soon.
And do you?
It's a 180. Last 3. 144 remaining.
And then thrown a 177.
We'll be up first, treble 20.
He's on a potential 9-darter.
Confirming the second.
Come on, Jared.
And to me on double 12.
Yes, you beauty!
Yes. I tell you what, he's pretty good, ain't he?
Yeah, Jared Cole, who actually works as a spotter when he's not on the hockey here at the Super Series, he's back in action next week, and we can show you the incredible lineup in full. Laura, take a look at this. Andy Bolton, Cam Crabtree and Wesley Plaisir, all in that Group A, all made it to the semi-finals of the same Pro Tour event just a matter of weeks ago. Aidan Kirk has won a Challenge Tour this year, joining Jared Cole in that Group B with Harry Gregory and Scott Marsh, Adam Paxton and Lou Bevan, all coming in Group C. Paxton at a debutant, another player who's been doing really good stuff in the ADC. That is a fantastic lineup, isn't it?
It really is. And to see the three semi-finalists all in Group A, obviously we get to enjoy them for a whole week and hopefully into the Saturday as well. But yeah, that is one really tough group once again. I think, yeah, Group A, whoever tops that is going to really, really deserve their spot in finals night.
Yeah, and in that Group A, 5 titles have been won between those players here at the Super Series, so that's a really fantastic achievement. And again, it looks like another unpredictable week.
Yeah, I think that's going to be another week that runs really quite tight, and I think the likes of someone like Cam Crabtree, especially obviously after his antics, you know, at the Champions Week as well, I think he's really going to want to book himself back into not just the Saturday, he's going to want to win and find himself back in Champions Week. So, yeah, lots to play for there.
Yeah, absolutely. Score to settle. It was a fantastic night on that night when Crabtree did make the final. It's going to be a fantastic night this Saturday as well, and always is every Saturday here at the Super Series. If you want to be here, here's how.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the Modus Super Series very soon.
So back to tonight's action then now at the Super Series, and Paul Hogan is back on the stage ready to take on Super Bear Jordan Matthews, who did get a win on debut, that 87 checkout we saw against David Evans, who has been out of sorts tonight. 4-1. Evans has since beaten David Davies. Hogan with a win and a defeat as well, like the player he's playing here. But which one of them is going to join Sebastian Bialecki at the summit of the stack? We will find out in the next possible 7 legs.
Yeah, I know we've only had a couple of games from both these guys so far, but just looking at how their evenings have gone, for me, Hogan's the one that's kind of progressed in terms of, you know, the level of play.
60.
Don't think he changed the points, Laura.
Yeah, you couldn't write this stuff, could you? I don't know how you can find that wire that many times.
I mean, is that the problem? We're just sort of speculating. Is it the points, or is there a possibility that maybe you mentioned earlier that he doesn't throw his darts as firmly as some of the other players?
99.
Could that be caused by a little bit of nervousness of being on a big stage for the first time tonight in front of the cameras?
Yeah, potentially. There are certain things, as I say, the points is definitely one that I would look at
140.
first, especially if, you know, you're confident that you're throwing in the same style that you normally would. But as you can see there, that lurch forward just loses a bit of power in the darts. I don't think that they've got the strength to kind of fight against when they actually hit one of the wires.
96. Paulie require 124.
Plenty of you in the chat really do enjoy that lineup that we just revealed for next week. It does seem like every week we're saying best lineup ever, but you'd be hard pushed to
92.
get a more exciting one, a better timed one than that, and can let you into a little secret that the players are invited well in advance. So
84.
those 3 semi-finalists at the
32.
Pro Tour, they were already scheduled to play here together.
First leg, Paul Hogan.
Paul Hogan taking the opening leg in this one and doing it in 13 darts as well.
Second leg, it's Jordan to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, very much a happy coincidence. But I imagine those three especially are going to be coming into next week
42.
absolutely full of confidence, and rightly so.
Ben Payne, who's in that Group A next week as an ADC qualifier, well, his comment
60.
is feels like maybe the odds are stacked against him, but hey, Ben, you've got to be in it to win it, and we're looking forward to welcoming you to the live lounge.
85.
Yeah, it's definitely, would you say, here in the former church, maybe a baptism of fire.
41.
But we've seen very recently, actually, some of the ADC qualifiers really have fantastic runs. A couple of weeks ago, Killian McCormack
58.
making finals night. Last week, Terry Nash making the final.
Yeah, of course. And Tom Sykes, I know, obviously, he's a name that we bandy
60.
around quite a bit, but again, was an ADC qualifier, and it's just gone from strength to strength.
134.
Oh, seeing quite a good response here from Jordan Matthews.
108.
That's a good response to the good response. You've got to throw 3 darts, Jordan.
$96. Paulie require 160.
Well, can he add the 160 to the 148? Got the first. There's the second. Needs tops.
120.
Yeah, that would have been 340 and 6 as well.
86.
Is that in? It is. Double 7.
72. Paulie require 40.
Had some struggles, Jordan Matthews, with double 7 in his earlier match.
$20. Jordan, you require 14.
Tricky. So he's decided to split.
10. Paulie require 20.
Sensible, but not well executed, and affords another opportunity here for Paul Hogan, who now needs double 5. Yeah, and finds the target, and it's 2-0 Paul Hogan.
Third leg, it's Paul to throw first. Game on. $60. $46. $100.
Decent stuff from Hogan so far. Maybe showing more signs of a bit of pressure here because
55.
he's sort of struggling to stay still on the hockey as he releases the darts. Jordan Matthews.
100. $40. $100. $121. Paulie require 141. $90.
Yeah, Jordan Matthews finding himself cut adrift once again here in leg number 3, but making some inroads. Will he switch?
140.
No, but
Paulie require 51.
safely in there with a 140. Hoagie now looking at double 16.
19. Jordan, you require 99.
So Well, he went halfway between treble and double
59.
there. So
Only
Hogan will get a
required
go.
32.
One-way traffic for the most part in this match. That could change.
24. Jordan, you require 40. $20. Paulie require 8.
It really has been a bit of a struggle for Jordan Matthews on the outer ring. Just looking at the stats from the earlier matches, 4 from 18. He did get the win over Evans. Paul Hogan finds the target there for a 3-0 lead, but 4 out of 18 on the outer ring against Evans. He was 1 out of 11
It's Jordan to
in his match against Bialecki, and he's 0 from 7 here.
Yeah, for the first time tonight as well, seeing him start to shake his head, start to feel a little bit battle-hardened now.
59.
He was enjoying every moment, even when the darts were being knocked out of the board, jumping out of the trebles like lemmings.
95.
Still had a smile on his face, didn't he? But now he just does look a little bit frustrated.
Yeah.
123.
And you can understand why. I think people have to realise you actually have to. You play quite hard to get into a position to be here. Obviously, he's right up there in the rankings for the northeast of England on the ADC circuit.
100.
When it doesn't quite go to plan, it's very, very frustrating.
One of the players who was announced for next week,
96.
Adam Paxton, he hit a 9-darter on that ADC circuit recently. A player that a few have been sort of calling for, and
58.
those calls have been heard.
$100.
Chance maybe for Matthews to avoid a whitewash defeat here.
40.
Here we
Jordan, you require 123.
Yet to see a 4-0. Jordan Matthews fighting hard to keep that the case.
60.
Yeah, but there will be some pressure here from Paul Hogan on the 63 for Matthews.
140. Jordan, you require 63.
That's nicely done. Very, very well done, particularly in that position in the game. Paul Hogan respects that. He's seen plenty of players come and go in his time. And he knows how difficult that can be.
60.
Yeah, it's one of those strange positions you're in. It can go one of two ways. I've seen some players, I mean, they all react differently, but actually playing with a little bit more freedom when you think
46.
the game's got away from you. And perhaps you saw some of that there from Jordan Matthews.
Well, following this is what should have been a mouth-watering matchup between Sebastian Bialecki and David Evans,
100.
the two favourites before a dart was thrown tonight, but it doesn't seem like we're going to get the same thrill that we would have
41.
based on what we've witnessed from Evans so far. However, if he wins the match, he's joint top.
Yeah, it's amazing how things can change around
45.
slightly.
$80.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Kirk Bevins had been refereeing tonight, then Jordan Matthews wouldn't have had any darts count, would he?
83.
I do jest. It's difficult to keep your eyes on the board and the players at the same time, but he is really struggling to not walk.
44.
Not even on the last dart, but on the second dart.
Yeah, he's kind of following through with his whole body.
57.
But again, finding himself really up against it here. Paul Hogan down to a finish, and Jordan Matthews unable to leave one.
59. Paulie require 156.
Is he at it again here? Took out a 148 to win earlier tonight.
120.
Can't take out the 156 to win 4-1.
Yeah, Paul Hogan has missed a handful of big finishes. Missed a 160 earlier on this evening as well. Really is threatening
24.
some big things.
Paulie required 36.
Well, this is his double. And he's going to split here. Smart thinking from Hogan. Who gets the better of Matthews. Not as happy as he was at the start of tonight when he got that debut victory. Paul Hogan puts him away and does it in convincing fashion. That's now back-to-back wins for Paul Hogan after losing his first game. A 4-1 success against Matthews. Coming up next then, it's the man that is at the top of the table and unbeaten, Sebastian Bialecki, who takes on David Evans.
Next year, when that decision needs to be made, he's going to be 49. 1 year shy of the age of the seniors.
A very viable option. Two players who are around that age. Well, what did he say about the 9?
Will we get the 141? Will the promise come true? Double 12.
And the match,
Steve West has won the match with a 9-dart.
Harrison has kicked off the last leg in perfect style.
It's everything, really. Oh, he's timing this well again.
180.
With a 9-darter, treble 19. Treble 15 leads double 18. Franchise Harrison to win the game in perfect style.
Hauled himself out of it.
Yeah, it was something that Henry actually said in jest that I was quoted as saying Jared Cole is one of the most, sounds a bit fishy, blended on my grandpa Mark Salmon.
Do you? On a 177 and a 180. He's on a potential 9-darter.
Come on, Jared. Yes, you beauty!
Nice and high, and Cox has now got the game back into his
100.
own destination, and wow, the momentum is with him. Here we go.
108.
I wouldn't have said it. Don't jinx it. Yes. Yes! Double 12! Yes! Get in there, Lee Cox!
Well, I think it's fair to say that the blue touch paper has been well and truly lit.
108.
6th max of the match. Oh, hang about. Hang about. It's getting ridiculous now. Can Tommy Leishman give us back-to-back 9-darters in back-to-back games? He could, you know. He could, you know. Goodness gracious me!
Tommy Leishman.
Back-to-back 9-darters!
On we go then here at the Modus Super Series as Thursday night becomes Friday morning, and at the end of Friday's action, tomorrow's doubleheader, we will know all of the players through to finals night. But Sebastian Bialecki can take another step towards being there with a win here against David Evans, who's been below par. Maybe, we think, perhaps a little under the weather, just hasn't been himself tonight. Bialecki will be looking to take full advantage of the out of sorts, off-colour Evans, but if he manages to find the form we saw earlier in the week, then he could halt-bolt and join him at the top of the table.
Yeah, he really did dig deep in that 4-3 win over David Davies. Secured himself a couple of very valuable points at this stage.
First leg, it's Sebastian to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, but for me, Bialecki has proven himself to be the man to beat. Kicked off with an 89 average. Got that 4-1 win over Paul Hogan. Backed it up with a 4-1 win over Matthews. And he just looks to be the most consistent of the entire field so far.
$85.
Well, if you missed it, about half an hour ago we announced the lineup for next week, and it is stunning. Andy Bolton, Cam Crabtree and Wesley Plaisir, all
57.
PDC Pro Tour semi-finalists in the last couple of weeks, on the same day, in fact, all in Group A next week, along with Mike Warburton, Victor Tingstrom and the ADC qualifier Ben Payne, who's been feeling that pain since seeing the lineup. Aidan Kirk, Challenge 2 winner himself, Harry Gregory, and our very own Jared Cole, who works as a spotter behind the scenes here at the Super Series.
93.
And hit a 9-darter this year. He's in action in that group. And in Group C, Lou Bevan from Wales. Adam Paxton, great player on the ADC circuit, hit a 9-darter earlier this season himself. And Scott Marsh, who is
59.
the ADC qualifier in that group.
Yeah, wonderful lineup. I think players that
99.
their names have been branded around. I even heard the likes of Plaisir mentioned today when Henry was discussing that kind of more contentious issue of who's the best player out there at the moment without a tour card. But
42.
as you mentioned, 3 of those
Sebastian
players
require 152.
did make the semi-final, but for Wesley, also made a couple of finals himself.
$94. $100. Sebastian, you require 58.
18 for tops. Double 10.
Game shot on a first leg.
Denies
Sebastian
Evans
Bialecki.
an opportunity. And carries on what's been a comfortable,
Second leg. It's David to throw first.
confident
Game on.
progression. And it looks like he will progress. It's early to say it, but I'm going to say I can't see any situation that doesn't involve Bialecki being at finals
43.
night on Saturday.
No, I would agree with you there. He's just looked, like I say, very solid. Performances have been consistent.
45.
Yeah, for him and Paul Hogan, to be fair, he's won 2 out of his 3 matches, Paul Hogan. It seems to have been a case of those two keeping their heads when everybody around them is losing theirs.
Yeah, sometimes when you see these
81.
like favourite players, the big players like David Evans, when you see that they're not perhaps on top form, there is this kind of desire to you can over try. You can want to take it with 2 hands and
100.
actually let it slip through your grasp. So, as you say, I think Bialecki, very experienced here at the Super Series, although still one of the younger players on the scene.
60.
Yep. Fantastic link up with ADC Europe. In fact, that's where Wesley Plaisir is coming from. And not only did he make those semi-finals, he, of course, made back-to-back finals at Pro Tour events. No tour card, back-to-back finals. Ross Smith and Johnny Clayton it took to beat him.
$58.
And I think David Evans, he really did dig deep in that win over David Davies. So I just wonder how much it's kind of
46.
seems to have taken out of him, because all traffic is going the way of Sebastian Bialecki.
$101. Sebastian, you require 170.
Well, we need something to provide a spark tonight.
132.
Thought for a moment that would be
David,
it.
you require 158.
Yeah, yesterday we saw 170 checkouts from Evans and from Lishman. Bialecki unable to add to that tally.
134. Sebastian, you require 30.
Decision to be made here by Bialecki, who chooses to split.
6.
But doesn't hit.
David, you require 24.
Well, some fine set-up play from Dave Evans has given this opportunity for 24. It was close. It wasn't quite in, but obviously felt good for Dave to take that step.
12. Sebastian, you require 32. Game shot on his second leg. Sebastian Bialecki.
Yeah, rather unfortunate there for Dave Evans because actually there were 3 rather well thrown darts at the double. Just missing by a fraction, but
third leg, it's Sebastian to throw
Bialecki
first.
that's got the 2-0 lead.
And he wants to make it count. That will help him do so.
180. $48.
Can see again David Evans trying to cool himself down while Bialecki turns up the heat.
100. $93.
Yeah, saves it with that last dart, but I just feel slightly for Dave Evans, who just seems to be struggling up on the stage tonight.
57.
And Bialecki just seems rather unfazed by it. For some players, it can actually be quite a distraction if you know someone is struggling. But
Sebastian, you require 164.
Just very businesslike in his approach.
Yeah, it's turning into a very convincing night, one of the most convincing nights.
100.
He's won 10 legs and lost 2 so far.
$40. Sebastian, you require 64.
So for 3-0, 64 required. Pulls it into the 7, so 17 for tops.
Game shot on a
Yeah,
third leg.
good
Sebastian
adjustment there from
Bialecki.
Sebastian Bialecki.
Fourth leg, it's David to throw first.
Yeah, really is
Game
struggling with perspiration. And it's affecting not just his head, but his hands, isn't it? We can see that, trying to wipe them dry.
57.
Having a look there. The trouble is, when you're using your clothes to do that, you're going to run out of dry bits on your clothes to do it with.
Yeah, I see he's got a towel at the back as well, but I guess the same thing applies in that situation.
Well, a couple of positives for David Evans.
59.
One is that he did manage to grind out a victory tonight, and 2 is that there's always tomorrow. He'll have a bit of time to get himself right again.
100.
Yeah, what you do with your time in the day as well is quite important. So this is day number 4 for a couple of these players.
Well, everybody has these types of days at work, don't they? When you're kind of struggling,
60.
you're just not feeling it. Maybe a little bit under the weather, but you get through it. But when you're a darts player or any sort of individual sports person, it's just so public. You're in the arena on your own,
96.
battling with whatever it is in front of everybody.
I've said it so many times. When things go well, that stage feels brilliant. When it goes wrong, it is the loneliest place in the world. It's difficult and frustrating.
57. Sebastian, you require 170.
To win it in style.
128.
He's angry about it.
Yeah, second attempt in this match for Sebastian Bialecki at that 170 big fish, and just seeking perfection.
92. Sebastian, you require 42.
Double 8.
Game shot.
Bialecki breathing
Sebastian
easy.
Bialecki.
David Evans will be sweating tomorrow. It's a 4-0 success for Bialecki against an out of sorts David Evans, who just cannot find it tonight, having found it pretty much every other day this week. But Bialecki with the 4-0 win makes it 3 wins from 3 tonight. Evans will go into his final game against Paul Hogan looking to grind out a victory as he did earlier in the evening. Bialecki will be back a little bit later as well, but Jordan Matthews is up next against David Davies.
Yeah, welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we will be seeing David Davies, who has yet to get off the mark today, and he's facing Jordan Matthews. Well, Jordan Matthews did win his opener. He won 4-1 over David Evans, but hasn't been able to pick up any points since, so it will be quite interesting to see how it goes for these two. I'd say for both of them, neither of them have particularly settled in too well, and it looked like a bit of frustration creeping into Jordan Matthews' game in his last match up against Paul Hogan. We hadn't seen that yet from him, so obviously he's finding it slightly frustrating that he's not producing what he's used to producing.
Yeah, I do know that since the call up to the Super Series, Jordan Matthews has been so keen, impatient to get here and enjoy this moment, this debut night.
First leg, it's
on the
Jordan
Live Lounge stage.
first.
It's become a
Game on.
real target for all dart players out there. And maybe, just maybe, he's practiced a little too much in preparation
60
for this. Stellar start in the opening match when he won 4-1 against David Evans. It's since transpired
79.
that Evans isn't really at the races tonight.
$59.
David Davies is in danger of having a really poor night,
81.
although he could turn it around totally. He's just playing in 2 of the last 3 matches.
Yeah, David Davis lost his opener 4-2 against Paul Hogan.
95.
He took out that glorious 1-4-8, the highest checkout that we've seen so far in this Group B session. Narrowly lost out to David Evans, but did well. He was 3-0 down and came back to force a tie-breaking leg.
134.
He's definitely shown sign, David Davis, of what we've seen from him here before. It's just taken him maybe a bit too long to settle into
40.
the proceedings.
Yeah, he's certainly got the knack of making it through to Saturday. He's done that on several occasions. And he's been a player whose progress at the Super Series
85.
seems to have been linear as well, so it would be a big disappointment to not make it again.
Yeah, that's some of the other feedback sometimes you get from players that do come here to the Super Series, is they want to put in a good performance. They want to prove why they've been selected to be here, but also they want to be invited back.
But the easiest way to get invited is to play well when you're here, isn't it? If you get that opportunity, grasp it with both hands.
46. Jordan, you require 148.
You can see the impatience I mentioned in the way that he
David,
actually
you require
approaches the game.
76.
Jordan Matthews is at the hookey before his opponent's halfway down it to retrieve their darts.
No score.
Oh, that's gone horribly wrong.
Jordan, you require 48.
Tops of the opener.
28.
And Jordan Matthews really
David, you
has
require
struggled when it's come
76.
to converting these legs.
But Davis has got it all to do again because of that bust.
Well, finds the treble once again, and this time
Game
does
shot on the
find the
first
double 8.
leg.
And
David
what a
Davies.
response from David Davis.
That's how to put it right.
Second leg. It's David to throw first. Game on.
Break to boot as well.
Some of the expressions you're getting from Jordan Matthews in the background, he's more like a grizzly bear than a super bear.
Yeah, I'm getting real Richie Burnett vibes actually from Jordan Matthews. He
41.
doesn't like to stay still for long, does he?
No, right up on the hockey as soon as the player starts to retrieve their darts.
66.
Yeah, one of the more entertaining, intriguing debutants we've had in recent times. We're going to get more
100.
next week, as mentioned. I
118.
know many of you will have plans on Sunday, but if you are at a loose end on Saturday, you can come down to the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Tickets are available by scanning that QR code. It'll take you straight through to
77.
dartshop.tv. It's just £2, and you can be part of the unique atmosphere here at the Super Series on a Saturday night.
44.
Yeah, I know you mentioned it earlier, but for anyone tuning in, Lee Cox has confirmed his place in Saturday's finals, and I think you mentioned that quite a few tickets were sold as soon as that was confirmed. He's got a big following and a big crowd coming
92.
down to support, so make sure you get your tickets ASAP.
$133.
Yeah, he said a few crafty cockneys coming, of course, his nickname a tribute to the late, great Eric Bristow.
$137. Jordan, you require 140.
Yeah, solid visit there from David Davis, and we'll be back for 54.
$45. David, you require 54.
Well, he's hit the double. And now he needs another one. Double 13. Which he's actually already hit in this game, but
46.
not when he wanted it.
Jordan, you require 95.
Yeah, once again, the irony of darts. Doesn't go in when you want it to. And it's not going to go in here for Jordan Matthews as David Davies comes
41.
back for a 2-0 lead.
David, you require 8. Game shot on the second leg. David Davies.
Does double his lead.
Third leg. It's Jordan to throw first.
He
Game
could
on.
quickly turn his night around here. He didn't have any points at all before this game started, but provisionally he's up to third in the table.
Yeah, the remaining 2 games after this, Dave Evans will be facing Paul Hogan, who's, in my opinion, got better and better as the night's gone on. David Davies has got the prospect
58.
of facing the table topper in Sebastian Bialecki in the final game of the night.
$86. $128. $13.
I think Jordan Matthews may reflect on this opening night. Obviously, he's back tomorrow, can right some of the wrongs, but perhaps just hasn't gone the way he's planned. And what I am seeing is it's giving David Davies this additional confidence up on the stage.
59.
Not happy with this visit.
21.
No, but he's really been afforded time here by Matthews.
60. David, you
So
require
through the night, we've seen
154.
glimpses of what Jordan Matthews has been doing on the ADC circuit. Kicked off with that 15 dart leg. Hasn't been able to reproduce that form.
Hasn't been beaten 4-0 in any game. But Davis on
60.
course to do that here. If he wins this leg, he'll throw for a whitewash win.
$80.
I'm not even going to comment.
David, you require 94.
I just don't know what to say anymore.
Game shot on the third
David
leg.
Davis
David
knows what to do.
Yeah,
Fourth
17
flag.
dart
It's David
breaker
to
throw there
first.
for David Davis.
Game on.
Now throwing for the match. You've only actually seen one other result that's gone 4-0, and that was the previous one where Sebastian Bialecki beat Dave Evans 4-0.
52. $99.
It's petered out, hasn't it? The whole occasion for Jordan Matthews. He started it with the win. He had that 87 checkout on the ball in his very first leg when he didn't even need to go for it.
133.
And he was smiling and shrugging off all the bounce outs. But as the night's gone on, losing has started to get to him. Not performing to the level that he
99.
knows he's capable of has started to get to him.
Yeah, and you can kind of see it in the body language, the way he's walking around the stage, kind of looking down slightly. We've seen the big reaction that we can get when things do go
80.
right, but just not enough has gone right for Jordan Matthews tonight.
$24.
Yeah, would maybe suggest that he looks at his preparation and looks at his equipment tomorrow. so often players prepare for one match, or they've got a knockout mentality. It's a different thing, isn't it, to prepare for a set amount of matches in an evening?
Oh yeah, it really is. Well, we've spoken to a lot of players, haven't we, who they come with their own food, things when your energy gets low, there's lots of things. And there is a 180 for Jordan Matthews.
113.
Out of nowhere. Will it be the last darts he throws tonight? It will be. If Davies can put away double 18.
77.
He can't.
Jordan, you require 99.
And a chance here for Matthews. Needs to try and convert 99, so 80 left. There's one tops. Can he find another?
79.
Just drags it low.
David, you require 36.
Much needed boost this for David Davies. Hadn't won either of his first two matches. Double 9 to win.
27.
Matthews
Jordan,
to avoid the whitewash
20.
yet again.
Just inside, so double 5. Can he adjust? He can, and finds the target.
Flag, Jordan Matthews.
His head just escapes the whitewash.
Fifth flag, it's Jordan to throw first.
A bit of Alan Shearer about him, hasn't he, with the celebrations?
$57. $100.
Well, David Davies
57.
has had 4 match winning darts. Hasn't been able to convert them. Finds himself back now on 401 points, but against the throw.
$45.
Not often you would say this, but when you look at the two groups we've played over the course of the day, you'd be back in the Group C players on finals night over the Group B ones.
45.
Yeah, I think barring Sebastian Bialecki, I would have to agree. I think Group C with Lishman, Wazzy, Robert Thornton, they really have produced
100.
Some top-end averages, and it's just been one of those stranger nights, I think, here in Group B.
Davies will play Bialecki actually in the
41.
final game of this evening, and of course the first of tomorrow. Bialecki would be through if he wins both of those matches.
$86.
Yeah, well, this would be some way to see out the match.
25. David, you require
Well, he hit a
170.
single 6 to leave it.
I think sometimes as a player, you just want something that's going to just fire you up. I think winning a match on a 170 checkout is definitely one way of doing it.
Bialecki himself missed the ball a couple of times in his previous game. But Davies, having had the opportunity already to win this one, is going to get
61.
another.
David, you require 105.
He's gone into the 11, so 94. Can't find the treble, so just looking to tee up because Matthews is all the way back on 215.
49. $55. David, you require 56.
More match-winning opportunities incoming here for Davies. Staring down tops.
Game shot.
Yeah,
and
and
the
he
match,
does find
David
tops on this
Davies.
occasion. It is a 4-1 win for David Davies over Jordan Matthews. That is 2 valuable points for Davies on the board at last. And he still has 1 game to go. Could completely turn his night around. Yeah, as for the pair, there you see the stats. Just under a 70 average there for Jordan Matthews. 78 for David Davies was the stronger of the 2 players. And that high checkout of 94 saw him win through. Well, just take a short break and then just join us afterwards, where we will be seeing David Evans taking on Crocodile Dundee, Paul Hogan.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we have 2 more tungsten tangos to bring you. And first on the darting dance floor, David Evans and Paul Hogan in the pair's final flings of the night. And with what we've seen so far, then you'd have to say Hogan would be the heavy favourite against the man in Evans who was the favourite to win the group before a dart was thrown. That will not be the case now.
I agree. I think Paul Hogan has just shown that consistency that we spoke of. Bit slow to get off the mark in the very first game of the session, where he lost 4-1 to Bialecki, but arguably both Paul Hogan and Bialecki have been the strongest of this Group B session.
140.
Yeah, David Evans has got the advantage of throw, but I think for David, he just kind of looks like the guy that just needs to kind of go back, settle into the hotel room, and then just kind of make that reset.
140.
Yeah, more promising start to this game with an early 140. It seemed like an age since he'd hit one of those.
Yeah, didn't find one in the last couple of matches. As you say, that's kind of how you can tell someone like David Evans is out of sorts, because it's quite a key element to his game, where we saw it all the way through Group 8.
45.
You can almost see as well, he's throwing those low darts still, but he's just staying on the treble 20 because he wants to find that that feel, that
60.
that range.
Yeah, Paul Hogan, that's one thing, if I was ever to say, someone who's played the game for as long as he has, has to be better on the board management. 166 left.
83.
Because he didn't switch. Should have gone down to the 19s.
Yeah, the hoagie bogey is a feature of his game, isn't it?
Oh, I like that.
60. $40. Probably require 106.
Yeah, when things like that happen, when you're not quite on your game, it just feels like everything's conspiring against you.
58. David, you require 136.
136 then. Not happening.
46.
So Hogan returns,
Probably
looking for a
require
break in leg
48.
one.
$16. David, you require 90.
Oh, Dave Evans took out 96 in his win over David Davies. So now he's looking at 215s for the 90. Yeah,
Game
and
shot on the
converts
first
it.
leg.
That's a
David
good finish
Evans.
there from David Evans. It's a hold to throw, but being on the back foot for most of that leg, it will feel
Second
like a
leg
bit of
is
a break
Paul
for
to throw
Dave Evans.
first. Game on. $43. $140.
Yeah, slightly better passage of play here from David Evans.
100.
Just doing everything that he possibly can just to keep himself within touching distance of those top three positions.
Well, the way he must have been feeling, getting out of the night with one win is good. Getting out with two would be exceptional.
56.
Yeah, especially when one of the two that you potentially are going to beat is above you in the table.
140.
Sebastian Bialecki can take a giant leap towards qualification with a win in his final match against David Davies. That would see him go through the card on a rather bizarre night, it has to be said. We've seen
57.
some strange stuff. Evans out of sorts. Matthews marvellous to start with, and then
44.
really kind of melting down in the end, and all those bounce outs that he suffered not making things any easier on him.
Yeah, I think the likes of David Davies, apart from that win over Jordan Matthews, which was quite comprehensive,
60.
hasn't really looked like he's threatening anyone himself. So as you say, it's just been a bizarre mixed bag of results.
81.
I just think the way Evans has done everything tonight as well, it's just been that second slower, hasn't it?
125.
Like he's trying to find
Only
something.
require 93.
Oh, double 16, double 18, and
Game
double
shot on his
18 it is
second
there
leg,
for
Paul
Paul
Hogan.
Hogan. That was a good shot there from Paul.
Third
Under a bit
leg,
of
it's
pressure with
David to
that
throw
set-up
first.
shot from
Game
David
on.
Evans.
Yeah, really good finish. He has looked a little better in this game, Evans, it has to be said.
140.
Yeah, very much more measured.
$140. $85.
Just seems to be getting that first start right on more occasions than not.
45.
And this is the other thing. If you're Paul Hogan and you've seen how things have kind of transpired throughout the night, I mean, in terms of averages, it's kind of been round the kind of low 70s for David Evans tonight. If you then see this kind of performance in front of you, you must be thinking, where's this come from? It's not what I've been expecting.
I'm starting to think, and we've said it about Jordan Matthews,
85.
I'm thinking about preparation again.
David, you require 96.
Because suddenly he feels
Getting
good.
shot on a third leg, David Evans.
Well, where has this come from, and why has it come now?
Yeah, I think that body language from Paul was a bit like,
Paul to throw first.
okay, not expecting this. But I like the sportsmanship at the end. Gives him the fist bump. The 11 darter there from David
100.
Evans. Equals our best that we've seen tonight, which was also from Sebastian Bialecki back in game number 4.
Right, David, wherever you went for your pre-match meal, don't go there tomorrow. Or go there, but about 3 hours earlier.
Yeah, I'd definitely swerve it, I would say.
I don't know how much each of the players watches and monitors in the practice room and sees what other players are doing, but this must be a bit of a surprise from Paul Hogan.
Oh, 100%. I think so. I can only speak of the experience that I had when I came here for Women's Week, but we were all watching and kind of supporting and cheering each other on. We knew what was going on with everyone else.
So he would have, before the night started, would have expected this to be a difficult game, but having watched how the night's unfolded, he's thinking, well, this should be a bit of a rollover, really.
Yeah, most definitely. I would agree with that.
But he's showing his tenacity, showing that fight.
90. Paulie require 121. $81.
Yeah, good last there from Paul Hogan. Sets up tops. Potential incoming 13, which is a great reply to the 11 we've just seen from Dave Evans.
100. Paulie require 40.
Double 20 found by Hogan to tie up this match at 2-2. And what a good match it's been. Both players averaging in the 90s. We've not said that many times tonight.
Fifth leg, it's David to throw first. Game on.
No, sometimes you find in a format where it kind of goes into the early hours of the morning, it's more of a struggle, but actually these guys are finding their best
60.
match right here at the end.
$100.
Yeah, perhaps a sign of things to come, as obviously we've got another day of it tomorrow. I'm sure both players will kind of review this and think, right, I need to start off how I finished.
100.
Well, there you see the power scoring in this match.
60.
Paul Hogan edging those stats by one visit.
$93.
Yeah, Triple 18 comes to the rescue once again there for David Evans.
Could be a game that's looked back on in this group. If
140.
either of these players doesn't make it to Saturday, they may look at this fixture because Evans may feel he needs to win, needs to get out with at least 4 points, whereas Hogan's got a real opportunity to put himself
81.
pretty close to qualifying if he can win this game. Probably only needs one win tomorrow should he win this one.
41. David, you
Yeah,
require
and I think he knows it.
167.
To see that angst there from Paul Hogan. He has had a chance at this shot before tonight, Paul Hogan.
57.
Missed it on the tops.
Paulie require 160.
Yeah, there's one. Can't find the second, so just looking to tee up.
140. David, you require 110.
Yeah, not disaster. Treble 19. That would have left the double 19.
54. Poorly required 20.
A pair of fives.
10.
And in the big moment,
David, you require
Hogan
56.
misses. And he knows how big the moment may be. That's okay. Don't worry, David. 24 remaining.
Misses by the narrowest
Poorly
of margins.
required
How
10.
costly will that miss be? Hogan back at the O'Keefe at 10.
Tense.
Game shot on a
But
fifth flag. Paul
successful. Hogan hits the front.
Sixth flag. It's Paul to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, and a little audible come on there from Paul Hogan. You can see how invested the pair of these are in this match. Arguably the highest quality and most competitive that we've seen throughout the evening.
Evans is still finding it.
140.
Still fighting. $100. I was about to moan, Laura, about it being a slightly late finish, but then I remembered last Thursday.
Yeah, I think just from the players' point of view, it's just possibly not all been firing on all cylinders for various reasons tonight, but this one has most definitely been one of the pick of the bunch.
82. $57. David, you require 148.
148 required. Not going to go, so we'll want to put a lot of pressure on the 144 when Paul Hogan returns.
57. Poorly require 144.
Great setup. David Evans has got a decision to make here. Is he confident enough to go for the treble, or is it the bull? Double 17. Hogan really obviously
31.
not watching, completely had his back
16.
to the board, didn't he?
Yeah. Now just taking his time up to the oki. Big moment here for Paul Hogan. One dart, double 4. And he pulls it into double 13.
David, you require
Not the first
60.
time we've seen that happen tonight. Evans on 16, not the easiest finish for him. He's been missing low as well. Don't want to pull this too low. Well, no danger of that for Evans. Can he correct?
40.
That would have been tricky
Poorly
still.
requires 16.
And there was the option of maybe going for a different target. 19 would have left double 18, for example.
No score.
Oh, but more missed match-winning opportunities for Hogan. David Evans in a prime spot here to level it up at 3 apiece, and you can just see the misery on the face of Paul Hogan.
Well, he does look, and he looks at the wrong time because
David
Evans has hit the right thing, and this one is going all the way.
7th and final leg. It's David to throw first. Game on.
I did mention at the start David Evans did have advantage of throw here. I wasn't quite sure how much that would be relevant based on the performances we'd seen from both these players throughout the night. But right now, this feels like it could be very relevant indeed.
60.
Yeah. Evans was excellent, missed out by a couple of points in the end in Group A. How he could have done with a couple of nights off.
It's one of those things, I think, you ultimately play the cards you dealt. Didn't quite do enough to make it through
60.
Via the Group A stage, so finds himself here in Group B, which arguably, as we've said before, is normally the one that players would rather be in because 3 out of the 5 go through.
60.
Yeah, Group C will, of course, conclude tomorrow. The action resuming at 1 p.m. Friday afternoon, and Tommy Lishman and David Wazowski both have 8 points at the top of that table. Robert Thornton just behind them on 6. Darren Armstrong and Mason Whitlock still just about in contention on 4 apiece. But it is pointless Pontus at the bottom of the table as Danielson is yet to get off the mark.
100.
Really is very little splitting these two, both in terms of averages. I think the one key factor that Paul Hogan may reflect on, especially if it doesn't go his way, he has missed 14 darts at a double, and a handful of those have been match-winning chances.
60.
Don't often see too much animation from Paul Hogan, but almost gesturing that it slipped away from him here.
44.
That will be a little tonic for him, seeing Evans only managed to muster up 44. Can he make the most of it himself?
170. David, you require 140.
Well, they were good darts, but not what he wanted.
I'm not sure whether that was angry or grateful or just ironic now, but as you say, he is very much more animated than I'm used to seeing him in the background.
I think he'll be sort of seeing it as typical, won't he? We almost start to feel the world's against you and you attract that bad luck.
88.
The last start was so good it was bad.
11.
Now he's got to be careful of not missing the big number. Takes care of that. And takes care
Paul Hogan
of David Evans, who ends the evening with just 1 win to his name. He's obviously struggled a little bit tonight. He's been all hot and flustered, and he's beaten in the end by Paul Hogan, who gets a win that might prove crucial come the end of this group. It's 3 from 4 for Hogan, 6 points for him. Sebastian Bialecki already has that amount. He's looking to go through the card when he takes on David Davies. So one final fixture to fulfil this night, and it is between the player unbeaten at the top of the table and one who's looking to completely turn his night around. David Davies lost his first 2 games. He won his last one against Jordan Matthews, but Sebastian Bialecki is yet to be beaten. Can he make it a perfect night, the poll? It is time to find out.
First leg, it's David to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, David Davis has that advantage of throw. Didn't quite work out for David Evans, losing that last game 4-3 to Paul Hogan in what was a very entertaining and competitive match. Davis, his only win tonight has come at the expense of Jordan Matthews, and as you mentioned, Bialecki has been pretty much on point when it's come to every single match tonight, just losing, I think it's just 3 legs throughout the evening. I stand corrected. Bialecki has actually just lost the 2 legs.
Yeah, he's not been his brilliant best, but he has been a much higher standard than anyone else.
125.
Do you get the impression, though, with Bialecki that he's doing enough? He seems very comfortable. If he was actually pushed, I think he's probably just got more levels he could find.
Yeah, good point. If somebody came at him, then I'm sure he'd
91.
find something in reserve. I know people might call it psychobabble or whatever, but there might be something to be said for getting through to Saturday with the least amount of sort of mental energy used up.
Well, absolutely. He just hasn't looked flustered or flummoxed at all. David Davis couldn't find the second treble for that 170.
134.
Does find one there.
Sebastian, you require 96.
Bit of pressure on this 96 of Bialecki.
Game shot on the first
Very
leg.
nicely
Sebastian
done.
Bialecki.
Very nicely done. 11 darter, not for the first time tonight
Second
either.
leg, it's Sebastian to throw first.
And that's how
Game
good
on.
an 11 dart leg is.
$135.
It comes to something when you hit a 135 and your average actually goes down.
92.
A couple of people asking for the format. Those that are new, welcome. Make sure you subscribe and you won't miss any of the action. Plenty of fantastic
60.
content away from the live darts as well. But it is a round-robin group format. Monday to Wednesday, Group A played 6 players in it. The winner goes straight through to finals night. That this week was Lee Cox. Second and third from that group drop
81.
into Group B with 3 incoming players. And the top 3 from that 5 join the Group A winner at finals night. And the 4th, 5th and 6th players from Group A join 3 newcomers in Group C. With the top
83.
2 going through. So 6 at finals night, 2 groups of 3. All play each other. The top 2 go through, and then don't need to explain how semis and a final work, do I? But hopefully that puts you in the picture if you're new to the Super Series.
Yeah, really good tried and tested format. And one that I think the players really enjoy. I know as a player,
84.
especially a few years ago, you never got experience of playing multiple matches on stages in front of cameras. This really does open up new avenues, and it's really benefited a lot of players.
140. Sebastian, you require 139.
Yeah, one of the questions we get asked quite often is about whether or not it's ever been discussed, maybe extending the format on a Saturday night for the finals.
59. David, you
Well, it's
require
a
106.
worthy debate, but I do think there's also a certain beauty in keeping the same format throughout a tournament as well.
$58. Sebastian, you require 80.
Yeah, I think no matter what format you pick, there's always going to be people out there that kind of not pick holes in it as such, but just, try and suggest changes which may or not be beneficial in the long run.
Yeah, most players that have won a
47.
first to four are
David,
happy
you
to keep it
require
like that, but the
48.
ones that lost wish there were a few more legs.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes you wish there's a few less. That's just me, though.
Well, Sebastian Bialecki hasn't lost many legs tonight,
Game
but
shot
he's
on the
lost that
second
one.
leg.
Just the
David
third
Davies.
that's gone against him this evening. Could it result in a match going against him?
Third leg, it's David to throw first. Game on.
Well, David Davies hasn't hit a 180 tonight.
180.
Puts that right.
70.
Yeah, great time for your first 180. And I do think David Davies is just really has warmed to the task. Has got better as the evening's gone on. A bit like his kind of journey with the Modus Super Series over the months and years he's been attending.
All the players in this group, apart from Jordan Matthews, very experienced in this arena, in this format. All of them have made it through to finals night. Sebastian Bialecki's had success on finals night.
125.
And obviously we know things can change, and they do change sometimes here at the Super Series, but for me, Bialecki and Hogan really have played themselves into a position where I can't see them not
82.
making finals night.
David,
It's
you
gonna be a
require
real slog between
138.
Davis, Matthews and Evans to see who can claim that third spot.
Well, he's got 64 left.
90.
And it's another healthy lead for Davis.
$134. David, you require 48.
Yeah, for a holder throw here, 2-1 lead. Double 16 required, and double 16 is found.
Third leg, David Davies.
Yeah, 14 dart leg there from David Davis. Sees him tip his average just over 100
Fourth leg,
still.
Sebastian to throw first. Game on.
Sebastian Bialecki averaging just a smidge over 99.
54.
Yeah, I would say the Group B really have saved their best till last for us.
Yeah, didn't expect this. And it might be the best performance. Well, it might be the best two performances
43.
of the evening, but David Davis, the one that's really turned it on.
$134.
Yeah, the two legs that David Davis has taken here against Sebastian Bialecki is as many as Sebastian's lost throughout the evening.
58.
Bialecki won 4-1. Backed it up with another 4-1 win over Jordan Matthews before beating David Evans 4-0.
97. $42.
A lovely response there from Sebastian Bialecki. Arguably, this is the first time that we've really seen Sebastian pushed in a match tonight.
81. Sebastian, you require 36.
Now, well, you said it, didn't you, Laura, just a leg or so ago, that if someone pushes him, then maybe there are more levels in there.
No score.
And that is true, he just didn't happen to demonstrate it in that particular visit.
He's got time on his side, but yeah, absolutely great to reply.
99. Sebastian, you require 36.
So he has another go at the same target. This time he's on target. 2-2.
Bialecki. Fifth flag, it's David to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, all kind of going with throw these last couple of legs. I mean, the task is simple for David Davies when you say it. Just play well on your throat. Hold your throat, you will win. Sebastian Bialecki will need to find a break again.
$59. $40. $45.
Yeah, persevered with the treble 20 target, trying to get it over the top, but clad into those other two darts and can only get a 5.
$96.
After 4 rather explosive legs, this one just seems to have slowed down ever so slightly.
We do sometimes expect, particularly on these Thursday and Friday night sessions, that the standard can decline as the evening goes on, but this game started so well.
$100.
It's just been slightly more assured from David Davies. Commented quite a few times throughout the evening that it was just going wide on certain shots, pulling into the 5, pulling into the 1. Haven't seen quite so much of that. Commentator's curse denotes that it probably will happen right now, but
well, he rescued himself there, Laura.
The irony, but yes, absolutely great recovery.
Bialecki's at it, and he recovers as well.
119.
Just as well.
David, you require 72.
Been sharp on the doubles. David Davies in this game, 2 out of 3.
52. Sebastian, you
flight.
require 97.
Is this going pear-shaped?
Game shot on the fifth flag. Sebastian
huge
Bialecki.
take there from Sebastian Bialecki. A bit of a fist pump. Knows how important that is because he's now got the darts to win this match, to go through the card. How big an opportunity was that for David Davies?
And if the table does end the way that it is now, with Bialecki on 8 points and Paul Hogan on 6, you're looking at an almighty
96.
scrap between David Davies and the 2 players below him, who are also on 2 points, Jordan Matthews and David Evans, for that third and final place at finals night. Realistically,
140.
nobody would be officially through at the end of tonight, but Bialecki would be 1 win away and could get that against Davies in the first match tomorrow, and Hogan would be 2 wins away. Might not even need that many.
134.
No, it's very difficult from what we've seen tonight to not think that those top 2 in Bialecki and Hogan will be there on Saturday.
94. $133.
So 138 to win a match.
100. Sebastian, you require 138.
Wonder if it's ever been done before.
Would it be the best 138 you've ever seen? Double 12.
126.
Almost was sublime, but
David,
not
you
to be
require 167.
outside chance. David Davies on the 167. Well, there's part one. But he himself can't find the treble 19, so Bialecki back for 12.
Yeah, to put the icing on a cake that
80. Sebastian, you require
maybe
12.
hasn't been the tastiest tonight, but he certainly enjoyed it.
Game shot and the match.
Bialecki
Sebastian Bialecki
can afford himself a little smile. David Davies pushed him hard at times, but Bialecki, as predicted by Laura Turner alongside me, just stepped it up another level. An average of 98.55 in the end. Really good stuff, saving the best until last. 4 out of 9 on the doubles. Davies himself was north of 90 in the average and hit half of his double attempts, but he goes down 4-2 and is one of the bottom 3 at the end of the night. On the other side, Bialecki has won all of his matches, and we will summarise all of the action after this short break. Well, that brings an end to this evening's darting action. And Laura, kind of strange night, but Sebastian Bialecki showed his class.
Yeah, absolutely, and no more so than what we just seen there, just a smidge under 100 average, and kind of really did save his best performance till last. But yeah, consistent, didn't look under any real pressure throughout the evening, and he sees himself at the top of the table. 4
wins from 4 for Sebastian Bialecki. Jordan Matthews, the debutant, started his night with a 4-1 win, but it all kind of unravelled from there for him. David Davies getting a crucial win against Matthews. Paul Hogan, the other player to have picked up more than one victory. He got 3 in the end, and that one against David Evans in the penultimate game could prove to be pivotal come tomorrow.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that was a massive result, and only in the terms of how we saw David Evans play throughout the evening, he was really visibly struggling up on the oche there. But yeah, Paul Hogan just dug deep. He was really quite fired up for the match, which we don't often see, and did get the result in the end, but it was tight.
Yeah, he had to kind of scrap his way through as the best of the rest, but Bialecki, you mentioned it in that last match there, just looked like he was kind of coasting at times and had more in the locker.
Yeah, 100%. And he had to bring some of it out there against David Davies, because I will say the last 2 games of the evening session have been absolutely fantastic. They've been really, really competitive. But Bialecki, as I say, he just seems quite unflappable up there.
Yeah, comfortable before that. And we've seen him and David Evans play all week, and we really didn't expect what we got from Evans tonight.
No, and you feel for players because you're human at the end of the day, and obviously something wasn't quite right. Maybe he managed to adjust it for that last match because he was much, much better in his final match against Paul Hogan, but all the other ones really, really off par. So whether he just wasn't feeling 100% or something was going on, but hopefully he can get a good night's rest and adjust it for tomorrow.
Yep, another day tomorrow. This is how the table lies going into it. David Evans at the foot of it, actually, having been the favourite before a dart was thrown. Jordan Matthews and David Davies all on 2 points. Do we think it's going to be a 3-way scrap to join Hogan and Bialecki at finals night?
Yeah, I can't see it being any different from based on what we've seen tonight, and obviously the points that are already on the board. I think Sebastian and Paul, they don't have to do a lot. I know anything can happen in darts because it does, but I just don't see them not being there Saturday. And I just think with the other ones, then I think a couple of wins could prove really crucial. So a strong start from those bottom three it feels almost pivotal.
Absolutely right. There we go. We'll see you tomorrow. Hope to see you tomorrow as well here at the Super Series. Another double session, and all will be decided as to who joins Lee Cox on the Super Series stage at finals night. The action resumes at 1 p.m. We'll see you then.